Afternoon, guys. AW here. Here in order. Excuse me. Excuse me. So I set the stream up for 6:30, but you know what? I just had dinner. Just finished dinner actually like 10, 15 minutes ago, and then, you know what? I decided to do a stream now. I have nothing planned. Nothing planned for later on. So I decided to do this stream. This is a Black Panther Wakanda Forever spoiler stream. So how this works, and I'll be sending invitations, don't worry. How this works is you should see the movie, pretty much, unless you're okay with getting spoiled. So the people that are gonna come on my panel are gonna will have to see the movie, okay? So if you get an invitation, a StreamYard like invitation to the movie, please, to the stream, please come on if you're available. Okay? But first, before we get into this, I want you to do me a favor. If you're new here, subscribe. This is my main channel. I have two other channels, a sports channel and a wrestling channel, but this is my main channel. This is for mostly pop culture, video games, TV, movies, news, stuff like that related to pop culture, like comics, sci-fi stuff like that. Whatever, you know what pop culture I'm talking about. And if you're watching this, make sure to like or smash, as my buddy Max would say, smash that like button down below. And share this video out, the stream out, if people are interested in this stream. Now, the movie has only been out for 2 days. Technically, the official release date was yesterday, but movies you usually get to see on the day before the official release date. So I saw it Thursday afternoon. Okay. And around 3:20. So before we get into the stream, before we get to the spoiler stuff, okay, I'll say this: I like the movie. Did I have issues with it? Yes. And we'll be going over the issues I have, and whoever comes on, we'll be going over whatever issues they have, and we'll give them whatever their time to speak on what they thought of the movie if guests come on, or if you're watching this, tell me in your comments below. Not comments below because this is live, but comments on the side. Tell me what's your thoughts on the movie. All right, if you've seen it, remember it's a spoiler review stream, okay, of Wakanda Forever, the sequel to Black Panther, the first movie. Okay, so let's get into it. Sorry, I'm checking my phone. I'm just checking my phone. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna have somebody come on in a few minutes. Okay. A few minutes. So, okay. I'll say this: they honored Chadwick Boseman respectfully and with dignity and class in this film, and not just the movie itself, but how they presented, how they honored him too, remembering him. So you know how the Marvel Studios opening. I'm sorry, I'm just watching hockey. Opening crawl is, right? You see the Marvel Studios. You see all the Marvel characters, MCU characters from past films or TV shows in an opening crawl, right? Opening Marvel Studios introduction. But for this, They decided not to do that. They decided to have only Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther in it instead of all the other Marvel characters because, well, because tragically he passed away 2 years ago. 2 years ago to cancer that was nobody knew. He kept hidden. I bet you only certain people knew. And they'd run to dedicate the opening the opening is it squall? No, crawl with him as a Black Panther from whatever films he's been in the Marvel films. He's only been in a couple, right? He's only been four, maybe four. I think four. Civil War, Black Panther, Infinity War, and a little bit of Endgame. As far as I know, it's only been four movies. So they did that. That wasn't the opening. That wasn't the opening. Really, they had an opening scene. Then they had that, and the scene was back to T'Challa's death. How Shuri, his sister, was trying everything in her lab to find a potential cure, a potential potion, whatever, to cure whatever sickness, illness that T'Challa has has been affected with. Now, he didn't say what the illness is, so I'm not going to speculate what the illness is. Don't even, if you're on here, don't even joke about what is going on in the real world, like with the. Okay, I'm not going to say it did not infiltrate Wakanda. I'm pretty sure it did not infiltrate Wakanda. But they had to wet them off some way, and the only way to do it was since they didn't have any battles in between, right? We don't. They had to use the illness thing, and he had Shuri do everything she can to find a potential cure in her lab to make sure her brother survives the illness he has received, the life-threatening illness, the terminal, the whatever illness it is. And she always checked his every time. She always checked his heart or breathing rate, how much percentage left, and it kept going down. And the more it goes down, the breathing gets harder and harder until a point where the mother, the queen, T'Challa's mother, Shuri's mother, comes to the lab, and you can see on her face, and you see Shuri look at her mother. She knew. She knew. It's too late. It's too late. T'Challa has passed. Has come back to whatever illness that he had. And that's when the opening crawl with the Chadwick began. And then yeah. And it was devastating to Wakanda. What happens is it made Wakanda a little hostile to rest of the world. As you know, with T'Challa in charge, Wakanda opened up to the world, right? Black Panther, the first movie, he decided to open up the world, to help the world be a better place. But since the passing of Chadwick Boseman's on Black Panther T'Challa, from the passing to the present time was a year later, they were a little hostile to the open world. T'Challa's death really affected the nation of Wakanda and the relations with the rest of the world, specifically at Geneva, where you had some of the world leaders specifically criticized Wakanda for their lack of help and resources with vibranium. Vibranium. And he invited the Queen T'Challa's mother, because she has to take charge no matter what. Since T'Challa passed away, the mother becomes queen again, takes charge of Wakanda. I'm not gonna go through this whole freaking movie, man. I feel like I'm going. Okay, so and she revealed that France, France, who you know was accusing Wakanda of the potential weapons that the vibranium could be weapons of mass destruction, and we should just share with this stuff. I don't know. That France secretly had like a black ops team, I guess you could say, black ops team, infiltrate a Wakanda facility that had vibranium. But Wakanda, they're more advanced in terms of technology, in terms of espionage, stuff like that, right? They were onto that. So, and the Queen revealed to everybody in Geneva that no, they will not be sharing vibranium with the world. And then you have apparently an operation, a mission with a scientist played by Lake Bell, who is not really she's in the movie. You know who she is, but she's not in the movie for that much. She's only for about like 5 minutes, maybe 5 to 7 minutes max. But she was there with the Marines. Hi CJH. She was there with the Marines. CJ, did you see the movie? Because I'm spoiling the movie right now. So if you haven't seen the movie, I suggest you don't listen. She's she's with the Marines. She helped join operation with the Marines, right? And and I think FBI. I don't know. I forget. Not FBI. Not FBI. It wouldn't be FBI. But they were looking for. They believed they found vibranium right underwater. But all of a sudden they got attacked. But what it seemed like an underwater nation. Under. Oh, thank God, George is here. Thank you. Hey, George. Okay.
Uh,
I don't know. I'm going through the whole. Why am I going through the whole movie? I'm like,
yeah, I didn't realize you started early, like because I was eating dinner and I was watching James Bond.
it's okay. You can. It's okay. I don't know. I'm giving basically the whole plot at the beginning. The whole plot. I don't know. I shouldn't do that. Okay. You just came back, right?
Well,
Um.
yeah, well I saw the movie around 12:30. I
Yeah.
didn't get home until 4 because I went to Target afterwards.
You got okay. I assume you got toys.
So yeah, I saw it afterwards, and by the way, my new icon is my mark of surviving the YMCA camps, not camps, caves.
All right. That's cool. So I'm gonna get your impressions. What did you think?
Overall, I liked it. It was better than I thought it was gonna be. To be honest, I thought it was gonna be good, but not like as good as it ended up being.
Yeah.
Like like because here's the thing, like I was worried about the runtime like being way too long, and yeah, that's still one of my concerns about the movie because not spoiling the ending just yet, but like the ending felt Return of the Kingish, where it felt like it could have just ended at earlier than it should have.
I'll say one thing about Marvel movies. To me, one times don't aren't even long one times. I'm fine with them because they're a lot of movies are action.
Yeah.
They're action based.
But I
That's
don't
why.
know. It felt like compared to like how Endgame felt, where like Endgame didn't feel like 3 hours. This one felt more like 3 hours, even though I enjoyed this one a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like Endgame just like it just felt like it went like very quickly. Like there was never a dull moment. With this film, like I'm not saying there were dull moments, but there were moments where the film slowed down, where Endgame felt more quick paced.
Yeah.
But I feel like with the
Yeah.
hand Ryan
Um.
Coogler was given with this film, because again, like he was given, Chadwick Boseman passing away, and all that, and having to rewrite this movie. He
Yeah.
did better than I think probably any
Yeah.
director could have done under these circumstances. Maybe the Russos could have done
Yeah.
better, like with the Marvel movie, but outside of them, I couldn't, and maybe James Gunn, I can't really see any other Marvel director doing the job that Ryan Coogler was able to do with this movie, where he was dealt this unfortunate scenario.
He had, yeah, like this obviously, because obviously this was not what Black Panther 2 was supposed to be. This was not in the plans for this. This was supposed to be a total different Black Panther sequel because the plans was obviously to have Chadwick
Yeah,
involved, and that hope that him passing changed everything for Black Panther, and you know the way they did it, it wasn't focused all on one character until like the later half. It became more of a Shuri in the second half, right? Um, no, spoiler alert: this has already been spoiled. Shuri is the next Black Panther.
yeah. Well, I mean, like we kind of knew that from
I'll
the
just let it
second
out. This is
trailer
spoiler
when
review.
when
She's
she when we saw it look
yeah.
like a more female.
Um,
But like, here's the thing. I will say this: the
yeah.
beginning of
There's.
the film, I don't know why, it almost reminded me of that Dragon Ball Z special, like History of Trunks, in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if you ever saw that, where like Goku at the beginning
Yeah, I
dies
did.
of a heart virus. Like, I got that vibe, like that, like with the beginning. I mean, obviously, you didn't have a funeral for Goku at the beginning, but like the fact that like T'Challa dies from this like disease that like with the heart, like I don't know, it just
Yeah.
gave me that vibe, like all of a sudden. Like I
Like
was like,
what?
oh boy, it feels like History of Trunks right here.
They didn't even name the disease. He just had like a bad heart all of a sudden. Like
I
what the
mean,
hell?
I mean, maybe like here's the thing, like to be honest, I was kind of worried they were gonna like use use the blip as some kind of excuse, like saying, "Oh, the blip gave certain people a heart condition." Because like that could have they could have done that where people who came back, like something happened, like people that came back.
You don't come back the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you come back with like a heart, like with like maybe health problems or conditions. I'm trying to remember now. Like, did like they use in Thor: Love and Thunder like the blip as an excuse as to why Jane had cancer? Because I can't remember. I'm trying to remember now.
I don't know.
Because like I feel like they might be, because I know in Endgame they said like when they were showing people that got snapped away, her photo was shown briefly or
Oh,
was
was
supposed to. I think there was a deleted scene that showed Jane Foster or something.
no, but Jane Foster was always going to get cancer. I mean, she gets it in the
Yeah,
comics. It's like she could develop that. Yet, develop that naturally. Like with T'Challa, they didn't even name that. They didn't even name the illness. Like, and I
yeah.
joked, and I shouldn't joke about this, but I joked about it in a private chat with Blind Braille here that maybe COVID infiltrated Wakanda.
I don't know if it's COVID, but I
I
feel like
know.
I don't know. Like perhaps like here's the thing. I feel like like I don't know. Maybe the blip gave like certain people like certain like health problems or something.
Maybe they have some disease infiltrated Wakanda because Wakanda's been so, you know, not open to the world, so they're not immune to the world diseases and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, Blind Braille, what's
Yeah,
up?
what's up? What's up, guys?
Yeah. Hey.
Oh, so your thoughts?
Um, well, I told you I mixed on the movie. Like, I gave it
Yeah,
like,
you did.
if I had to rate it, I would give it a 7 out of 10. So it's not. I don't think it was that bad, but I didn't think it was that strong like everybody else. Like everybody thinks this is like a top tier Marvel movie, and in my opinion,
Yeah,
majority of the movie isn't.
Yeah,
there hasn't been.
it's a top tier for Phase 4, but if you're gonna
There
compare
has.
this to other
There
movies,
hasn't
it's
been.
definitely not.
There hasn't been a top two Marvel movie since I would say Infinity War.
Yeah, Yeah, I would agree with
I
that.
mean, for me, like this still isn't this is not better than No Way Home or Shang-Chi in my opinion.
No,
I think
no.
like to me those are still the top two in Phase 4. Those are the two movies that I can say were great MCU movies. While this one like it's almost there, but
This
but
mo-
but but it's not quite there yet, but it's better than some of the other things we've gotten in this phase.
this movie was. I'm gonna. I know this. We get to this is movie end, but I'm gonna say this. This movie is the last movie of Phase 4. This movie should have had something to set up Phase 5.
Um,
But they're doing it
I
at
don't really
Kang.
agree with that. I think this was
Yeah,
like a closing of,
I know.
in the sense that it's like an Avengers movie. It's like really big. There's big. I wouldn't say there's big stakes, but Black Panther was popular, right? So it
yeah.
kind of makes sense to close off Phase 4. I just don't think. I think this movie has too much going on in it, and it doesn't really succeed at what it does. Like I
I
even
think
said
it's.
on Twitter that it
Also,
feels like a Disney Plus
I think that's
show.
been an issue with some of the Phase 4 movies. There's too much going on.
I
Yeah.
think like also like I feel like that it was fine the way it closed out without saying anything up for Phase 5 because then like Kevin Feige said Phase 4 is a grief phase. So like I mean like I
Mm.
think this is like the way to like end it. Like I feel like ultimately like Phase 5. Look, it's gonna start off big with Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumanium. It doesn't really need a setup. I feel like this is gonna start the same way Civil War started Phase 3.
Civil War starts Phase 4.
Mm.
Yes, Captain America Civil War started Phase 3.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, but
Started in a big way.
the thing is, these phases are like 2 years instead of three or
Yeah,
four
that's the
years now.
thing. But
Yeah.
here's the thing, because you have now that they added the shows, like I think the shows have become are what's making these phases shorter now.
It
Well,
is, and I think it's
yeah, I
hurting it.
agree.
I
I
think
think
too
it's
many of
hurting
it's
it.
hurting it.
Yeah.
Too many of
Well,
it.
I was saying that this movie feels like a Disney Plus show, like a really expensive Disney Plus show. Like there's just so much happening where it's just like you have the Ironheart subplot, you have obviously the stuff with T'Challa, then Shuri has to become Black Panther, and then you have Namor's origin, and then you have the stuff with Valve. It's like there's just too much stuff
That
going
I
on.
did not see that with Val and Everett Ross. I did not see that they were a married
Yeah,
couple.
that was I was
Yeah.
not expecting her to even be in the movie.
Yeah, there's
Ah,
just so much going on where it's just like you need to, if you really wanted to, in my opinion, pay tribute to Chadwick, then this movie should have just been about his passing, right? It should have somehow, the villain should have tied into his passing somehow and just keep it very simple, right? Instead of going on and on and on about Namor. And to be honest, I don't really like Namor. Like I think he's gonna work good as a hero, but he's an awful villain in this.
yes,
Like
he is.
there
I'll say that. I agree.
he's
Look.
he's super passive in this. Like he
People
does
want to see
nothing that makes him like a villain.
people want to see Namor in it, right? A lot in this film. People are hyping up Namor a lot, and I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
watching Namor. I'm like, this guy has the same motivation as Killmonger, like in a
The
way.
fact that he does, it's just that he's not as terrifying as Killmonger because
No,
Killmonger was uh, he was a psychopath. Namor
yeah,
is kind of like in the movie. It's like,
he
well,
captures
why
people.
do
That's
you
it.
guys dislike Namor anyway? Right? Besides, I mean, we can't talk. We could talk about spoilers, right?
Yeah, spoiler review. Spoiler.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like besides, okay, even the way he kills the queen, right? Like, didn't it feel so passive? Because he
I
goes
don't.
up to her and he's like, I'm gonna watch you die, right? I'll eventually watch you die, and um, and I'm gonna like
I
revel in it, right? Because he's telling her that on the beach. Not that's not
I
verbatim,
think
but
I think I know water is his thing, obviously, right? But I think that's one of the
mhm.
worst death scenes. But I mean, no. I knew she was
He
gonna
didn't
die. I
even
just didn't.
really kill her, though. He didn't
No,
really kill her.
but I think that she drowned. She drowned. I'm like, you know, if she that's to me
She
something.
died saving Ironheart.
I don't like drowning death scenes. And it's beyond. I think it's boring. It doesn't
It is
seem.
boring.
I mean, I know she sacrificed her life to save Ironheart because Ironheart's a teenager. Well, actually, yeah, she's 19, but like, it just I didn't feel it for her death.
Hmm.
But I think, and I'll say this, I think Angela Bassett did a great job as the Queen in this film.
She's the best part in this movie. Yes.
Yes, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, Marcus. The MCU, they tend to tone down these kind of villains. Even Thanos was not like, even they toned down Thanos a lot in the MCU. They
But look at Killmonger though. Like
Killmonger,
Namor
yeah.
doesn't even compare to like they
No.
made him too much like they were just telegraphing people. Well, he's going to be in his own movie or show, so he's not really the villain. I mean, his motivation. You're like, well, why don't they see eye to eye? Like
I
I'm
see.
not really understanding
The
what was
problem,
stopping them.
I'm tired of Marvel doing this so much. We gotta go war of the world all the time.
Hmm.
Almost most of the films, we gotta go war of the world. The Avenger films sometimes are like that. The Captain America films are like that. Um, Black Panther films like we gotta go war of the world. It's the same. They almost have the same plot.
Well, yeah, and even in this movie, right? Shuri has a very similar arc to T'Challa in Civil War.
Hmm.
Remember, because his whole thing was, oh, my father
His
died,
father was
and
so.
and I have to avenge him, right? And then he learns, hey, that's not the point, right, of being the Black Panther. And then Shuri does the exact same thing, right? Like halfway through the movie, yeah, her mother dies, and then she has this whole revenge arc, right? And then even before that, she's like, oh, I want to watch the world burn because my brother died, right? So it's like, well, this is a very similar arc to T'Challa.
You know what?
It
You know
wasn't it
what?
wasn't unique.
You know what I have a problem with? You know when Namor was showing Shuri, his village, right? Underneath, the wall
Mhm.
underneath, and he explained her origins, his origins, and how he said, oh, how he hated human. Oh, you could block that. How he hated humanity, right?
Yeah, yeah,
A surface dwellers, because when he came up to bury his mother, he saw the slavery, so slaves, and Shuri, Shuri. I mean, Shuri didn't even bother trying to try to reason with them. She said it's just this madness. She didn't try to say, yeah, the world could be cruel, but it could also be good in it. Like she didn't even try to reason with them.
yeah.
Like it's that's
Even
the
how
problem.
Namor gets his name is really it doesn't make any sense.
Serpent God. He's not a serpent though.
Yeah, well, not even that, but his name. Like I don't mind that his name stands for something, right?
I
But
thought it was devil, basically Satan and some.
like the guy, the Spaniard who's like, "Oh, you're the boy with no love." That doesn't even make sense. Like cuz I knew about this, right? I'm like, "Oh, maybe it'll make sense," but it doesn't. It's like his mother, he saw his mother grow old and die. Like what is that Spaniard even talking about? Like the fact that he killed a bunch of people? They were fucking slave traders. What the hell? Like, and then why would you adopt that name too when it doesn't even make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like you were already given a name. Like why take on the name Namor? It would just feel like a bunch of nonsense, to be honest. It was like, oh, we need to make this more unique than what's in the comic, and it's just like it's overly complex.
Oh yeah. Like Namor was to me was, I mean, they're kind of a letdown. I mean,
Yeah,
well,
yeah, like I said, I really didn't think it was like the greatest thing because I'm watching the movie and I'm like, there's some parts that are good, right? Like I like Okoye and Baku, but Mbaku's barely in the movie, right?
oh, Baku tried to attack Namor, and Namor just like punched him, and like
Yeah, he punched him in slow
because
motion.
he's a
Yeah.
mutant, like he's a mutant, right? They even said he was a mutant in the film,
Hmm.
right? Um, did they? Right? Did he did? Yeah, they did say he was a mutant in the film. I forgot how his people became. Well, his mother and her people became. What they became.
So like they took this flower. It's like very similar to the Black Panther
Oh,
flower,
okay, yeah.
right? And so what happened was because all their tribe took it, it was like a small tribe. They realized that the flower kind of gave them the ability to only breathe underwater, right? And so because Namor's mother was pregnant
Yeah.
while she took the flower, he ends up becoming like sort of like a half and half where he has the power of the flower, but he also has human traits. So he can breathe above water. He can also breathe in the water. And then he was also born with the wings on his ankles,
Oh
right?
yeah, now I remember. I remember because I remember they all talked to Flower. It's kind of supposed to be like a shot. One of the leaders of that tribe was like,
Mhm.
right, like brainwashing them, like trying to get
Well, he
control.
wasn't he wasn't really brainwashing them. He was trying to tell them, "Hey, like we
Yeah.
need to take this flower because of the plague that was going on at the time."
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know if it was like yeah, it was
Smallpox. Like
like
was it?
smallpox, yes.
Because Namor did mention smallpox, and when he was talking to Shuri, he did
Yeah,
mention.
right. So that's why they took the flower. It was like a protection, and then they realized, "Oh, we can't breathe the air, we can only breathe underwater." And that's why they started the city.
And that's how he became a mutant.
Yeah, because he was the only like no one else was pregnant who took the flower.
I'm afraid they're gonna screw up the mutant part in the Marvel's MCU. I think they're doing it
Yeah,
already.
I think they're gonna retcon it.
Yeah, I think the Miss Marvel thing is the Miss Marvel revelation about her being a possible mutant. That's a big mistake. I know it's original tension in the comics, like the writer, but I think
I think
it's
she's
being
still going to be a mutant. They're going to change it after Secret Wars, like once they establish the rules of the mutants.
yeah. Is it mutant alien gene? Is it an alien gene at
It's,
first?
I mean, it kind of is. It sort of relates to the Eternals, but the
Hmm.
way that it was originally supposed to be was that they are an evolution in humanity. They're not like Inhumans, where Inhumans
No.
were a separate group of humans that were experimented on. So they were never released in the population, while mutants are a gene that evolved. So some people
Yeah.
have the gene, some others, right? Some
Hmm.
others don't.
Yeah. Um, I did like some like I did say Namor. I did like some of the action scenes. I actually I was impressed with Ironheart in this film. The actress,
Yeah,
I,
yeah, I agree.
but she's a Mary Sue. I'm sorry, but she is a Mary Sue.
Uh, I don't know. I think we still need to know. Like, I've seen a lot of people are complaining, oh, her dad just let her play, and with the,
No,
his tools and stuff. But that, I mean, that's kind of accurate though. Like, that does happen with
Yeah.
kids. So I was like, I wasn't bothered by that.
not that her combat.
Yeah, her combat was, I mean, she was still wonky, right? She didn't really
Yeah,
know how to use the technology, and her suit wasn't even developed by her in the ending.
hmm
It was Wakandian technology.
but
So,
she knew how to fight. She knew how to fight already in that suit though. Like she has
She
well,
did
experience.
she
have
just
that
had a
back.
gun. Yeah,
Um, but this is war, man. Like if,
Yeah.
it's just a little bit. But that's what. I don't take that away from her. I don't, it's
Yeah,
because
I mean, I feel like Rey in Star Wars was more of a Mary Sue than Ironheart.
yeah, I agree.
oh, you
Yeah,
know what's a
like
Mary Sue? Mulan in the live action movie. Oh
I
my
didn't
god,
even see the live
Mhm.
action movie. Why waste my? I'm not gonna
Same.
waste my time
it's not
because the
good.
animated one is one of my favorites, and it's like they weren't gonna have freaking Mushu or the songs. Like, no way am I watching this crap.
I just don't even like the Disney remakes, so I just don't
No,
watch them.
some of them I like, but it's like that, like Mulan, like that was one I had no interest in seeing.
Mhm.
Man, Namor just reminds me of Aquaman's brother.
Like, here's the thing, I
Kind
didn't
of.
mind Namor. I'm not like big into Namor to begin with. I feel like there should have been a better motivation. Like here's
I
the thing,
know.
I
Mhm.
feel like this could have been the opportunity for them to tie like the snap and the blip to like what was going on. Like maybe something happened like with the snap and the blip that like caused like Namor to like hate like the surface world even more. Like I feel like that could have made that could have made more sense. I feel like that was a missed opportunity right there.
They should.
Well, and also too, what was this whole thing of oh, we can't tell the outside world about Namor's people, right? It was just like, well, what would happen if they did, right? Because even when Wak- and this is why I just dislike the movie because it's like,
I
okay,
have a question for you.
Wakanda did,
I have a question. They had a war in the last ending, right? At the ending, they had a war over Atlantic Ocean. You don't think that people won't, the governments won't know?
Yeah, they. I mean, I still don't know how they don't know that
Yeah,
they exist
yeah, yeah.
because
Yeah,
they're in a part where it's like, well, shouldn't have people have explored this? This is not like in the deepest parts of the ocean.
anybody were yeah, and they did expose themselves like pretty much in the end at the end when they had a war they did expose themselves over the Atlantic Ocean. I'm pretty sure the governments know about Namor's people in his kingdom like and
There was no reason for them to be a secret, though. It's not like it's Wakanda. Wakanda is like advanced, and they have access to vibranium, which makes them the most, rich country in the world. What does Namor's people have that makes them like they
that's
had vibranium, but it's like, do they have the same amount of vibranium as Wakanda?
no
They never
no
explained that in the movie. So to me, it was just like, well, why are we keeping them a secret?
because I think they're afraid because Namor's people did kill the police. Were willing to kill
Well, this
innocent.
was before all of
Oh,
that.
oh, okay. Because yeah, why didn't the Wakandians why didn't the Wakandians say your people need to go on trial for the murder of those police officers?
Well, why did Wakanda be like,
Yeah,
we're going to side against you? Well,
yeah.
what? There was no reason to side against them. It made no sense. It was just like, oh, we have to have this conflict
I
because this
think
is how the movie starts.
I think
And
the only
this is,
reason
hold on, this is my point that I was trying to make. The reason why this conflict exists is because of T'Challa. So it's like, you didn't even acknowledge that. That came from the first movie.
I
It
think
was just,
I think I think the only reason they didn't side with Namor is because they don't want to take over the world or destroy it. Like
Yeah,
Namor.
they've never really like here's the thing, they've always been private and like under T'Challa they started opening the doors.
Yeah, and
well, yeah, that's my point. That the whole reason why they're at in this conflict to begin with, and why Namor's like, hey, you opened and exposed yourself. Well, the person that did this is dead now, and no one acknowledges that. No one has to be like, well, now we have to face the consequences of what T'Challa did. It's just sort of swept under the rug.
mm-hmm. Well, that's
No one
Marvel.
acknowledges it.
That's Marvel.
It's just frustrating to me because it's like, and this is why I say like the movie should have just been about T'Challa's passing. Like, don't have all this other stuff going on because the strongest parts of the movie is when they acknowledge his death and them grieving for him. That's the
Yeah,
best part of the movie. Not when it turns into, a generic Marvel movie,
and if
right?
and everybody in Phase 4 has family issues. It's
Well,
crazy.
it seems like everybody has the exact same thing. Like Shuri is exactly like Thor now.
Yo, yeah, she's the well. We'll get to after the mid credit scene. Yeah, she's like the yeah, like
So
Marvel. Does a very good job of like making sure nobody has a family.
Yeah.
yeah, Peter Parker too, like
Yeah,
Thor,
Wanda.
Wanda's kids are gone.
like
Here's what I'm gonna say. The Avengers are not a very good team. They do not help their teammates or their allies out when things are happening.
Hawkeye's the only good one.
They left Peter Parker high and dry when he got framed by Mysterio. They no one reached out to Wanda like when she was grieving Vision's death and then what happened in Westview. No one I doubt anyone ever reached out to Thor.
Where
No
was
one ever
He
anybody?
reached
was with the
out, no
Guardians
one
though.
reached out
Thor was
to
with the
the Kingdom of
Guardians.
Wakanda.
Thor
They,
was with
Yeah,
the Guardians.
exactly.
yeah, but the Guardians aren't even the Avengers.
Oh, that's
I'm
true.
just saying the Avengers
No
But they're
one
friends
came to
though.
T'Challa's funeral.
like the
Nobody.
No one.
Avengers
Yeah,
are
I
not
know.
the Avengers are not good teammates. Like that like they are not good bros or sisters.
Where was Bucky?
Oh my god. Of
Yo, but
course you.
you would think at least like Bucky like would appear in a mid credit scene or something to
He should have been
like
at the funeral.
oh my
Oh my
here's
god.
the thing. Here's the thing.
Everybody should have been at the funeral if you
I,
ask me.
I get with Wakanda Forever, and this is something I do appreciate with the first Black Panther film is like they want to try to avoid crossing over, which I think is actually a smart move because the pure solo films are dying out in my opinion. So it's nice to see, but I feel like at least for the beginning, maybe have an acknowledgement from T'Challa's Avenger teammates and like friends.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, but here's the thing: we don't really know like what's also going on with those characters either. Like, we have no idea when like Thunderbolts is taking place in the timeline. Like, we have no idea when
Everybody was
Thunderbolts
there
taking
for Tony Stark's death, but they couldn't show up to T'Challa's death.
unless like what Wakanda was like, they were more private about it. They wanted it to be a more private ceremony because it's their king, and maybe they had a more public one with like allies or something. I don't know.
It's just, yeah, like I said, the movie's so messy for absolutely no reason.
Mhm.
You
Like,
know,
I would
like if
I
you're
would
gonna, yeah,
like
sorry.
I wouldn't call it messy, but I feel like Namor should have gotten like a special presentation before this came out.
Namor was not that
I
bad.
think if they had done that for Namor, I think you could have cut out a good chunk of this movie, and it could have been
When
and it could have gone smoother.
when I watched Namor, his reasoning for what he says, I'm like, oh, I've seen this before. Like why he wants like why he wants to destroy the surface. I'm like, yeah, I've seen this before, done plenty of times. And I'm
I
like,
mean,
do
Namor
something
should have
original.
gotten
Original.
either a special presentation or like a mini series before
Yeah.
this film came out, and I
Yeah,
think that could have made this film shorter, and I think it would have like made the flow of it go better.
but
You're
also
right.
make
Because
him
that's
a
the thing,
villain. Make
like,
him a villain.
and that would have like given, I think, more reason. Like, you could have
The,
done his origin that way, and I think again you could have easily tied it
the
into the movie.
it's an issue.
Here's the thing, Namor. I'm not that big of a fan of Namor to begin with, but it's like I think he's still a big enough character where you can at least give him a 6 episode series.
It's a problem. It's problem Marvel in Phase Four. Almost every single villain they use, whether shows or the movies, the villain's always like not pure, not pure villainy. Evil. Like they always like. There's
So
always some good in
I
them.
I feel
that
like I
that's
feel like
been a
the villains we've gotten, Gore, Wanda, obviously the Sinister Five,
Yeah.
who else? Mandarin, um, Icarus. All of those
Icarus.
characters were better villains in my opinion. They had better motivations
They
and they
did.
did
They
a
did.
lot more stuff that deemed them as a villain. Namor did barely anything.
At least,
He
at least,
passively killed the queen. He didn't even
at
keep
least
to
he
his
killed
word.
some. At least he killed somebody of notoriety, unlike Gore did.
Well, he didn't
Gore
kill.
was Gore
He
was
didn't
good.
kill anybody. He
Well, I
didn't
mean,
kill
like,
anybody.
okay,
He drowned. He didn't even know that she was dead.
oh,
For all he knew, she could have been the one that survived, and
she,
Ironheart died.
he was
Like
going for
he
Ironheart,
just
wasn't he?
flies away.
He was going for Ironheart.
No, he doesn't even know. Ironheart walked away, and then he floods the area, and then they're both swimming in the water, and she is probably like unconscious, and then the queen saves her right by
Mhm.
swimming up, and that saved Ironheart, and then she died. He didn't even check if the queen was dead. He's like this whole time. He's like, "I'm going to kill you. I'm going to watch you
Oh,
die," and he doesn't even do
bro,
it.
you're a movie guy, you're a TV guy. That's such a villain trope, though. They never check if the hero or somebody is dead.
I know, but he kept to his word. He said it like 3 times in the movie.
I
He was
know, I
gonna
know,
kill her and
I
watch. It
know.
was just like
It's a, it's
it's
a,
like, come on, seriously.
it's a bad. It's.
I know it's a trope, but this was like the worst kind because it's just like it's not like, oh, he stabbed her and then left her for dead. It was like
Yeah.
you just flooded the whole area and she was still alive when you did it, right? So it's like, what was the point? It wasn't like you were like, oh, I'm gonna see if there's bodies floating in the water and see if they're dead. So it's just like it just felt passive to me. It didn't feel like he really wanted to kill anybody.
Yeah. All right.
I feel like this film, though, I think they did a better job of making Namor an anti-hero than Black Adam made Black Adam an anti-hero.
Yeah,
I
I
get
could agree with that.
like that like I feel like they definitely did better with, because like I don't know, it just felt like like Black Adam, like he was just so generic as a character.
He wasn't really an anti-hero. I mean, he just
Black
killed
Adam.
people.
He was
That
That's
more.
what
was
I
it.
mean. That's what I mean. Like, at least like with Namor, I felt like he felt more like an anti-hero than Black Adam did. Like, because like Black Adam
Mm.
was hyped up to be this like anti-hero that was gonna change everything, but in reality, it really didn't.
No,
And I like Black Adam, but let's be real here. It was probably one of the most generic superhero films that
Generic,
have come out
yeah.
this year.
I mean, I don't understand why people. I would prefer watching this movie over over Black Adam.
it's a better movie.
Yeah. Like here's the thing. Like to me, like I think this was a good movie, but the thing is like I felt like they could have like cut out some stuff and either put it on a Disney Plus series or like not go Return of the King at the end. Because that's what I was getting a vibe of. It's like we have all these
Yeah,
endings now.
they needed to get that whole um, Ross and Val thing out of the movie.
I feel like
That to me was like
Val was
Is that
was
gonna do
was an
anything
unnecessary
forward?
character.
Is that anything forward for Val? Because like Val is gonna be an instrumental part in like in other things, in Thunderbolts and other stuff, right?
that could
So
have been in anything. That could have been in
yeah,
Secret Invasion. That could have been. I could have cared less. It didn't fit the movie at all.
Here's the thing: it would have made more sense to put Val in No Way Home than it would to make put in this movie. I mean, I
Yeah,
know she was not in No Way Home, but
and
let's
you
be
know
real
what's
here.
funny? You know what's
Government
funny?
investigating a hero that may or may not have murdered someone,
And
that would have made more sense.
she acted totally different from what we saw in Black Widow and Falcon and Winter Soldier. It was like a different Val. Like
well,
the way
I mean, the
Well,
fact that they revealed that she's the head of CIA was
yeah.
weird because it was like, well, where was she during Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Like she
Well, if
comes
she's head
in
of CIA,
like a mysterious
if she's head of
character.
CIA, why we if she's head of CIA, why would she want to get Yelena to kill Hawkeye?
Well, why doesn't she just get someone else to do it?
Why she want Hawkeye as a target in
here's
the
the
first
thing.
place? I want to know that.
With this film. So
I don't
basically, it
get
takes
that.
place
Like
a year
I
after.
don't get that now.
So this film takes place a year after T'Challa dies. What year did T'Challa exactly die in? Was it 2024? Was it 2025? Like, is this like
I think it
before?
was. It has to be.
2023 is when it came back.
It has to be
Yeah.
right
I,
right when they came back from the blip. Then
but here's the thing. Wouldn't it take a while for that heart disease to like form itself? So I feel like it would have to be at least like 2024.
maybe
Like
I don't know.
here
It's not
that's
explained
what I mean.
well. It's not
Like
explained well.
they got to establish the timeline. As far as Val, this is what was a problem even before like Phase 4 when different directors take these different characters. Like let's be real here, the way like the Russo brothers handled Star-Lord was completely different from how James Gunn handled that character.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Val. And I'm not going after Ryan Coogler for that because again, directors have different styles, but it feels like this is where I think Kevin Feige is no longer playing as big of a role as he once did. I don't think he's consulting these directors as much as he was before Phase 4.
It seems like Marvel's all over the
Mhm.
place a little bit.
He's I think he's basically like letting certain people have like more creative control than he might have once did. Like let's be real here, Taika Waititi went off the rails with Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real here. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, as much as I like this movie, this was more of a Sam Raimi movie than an MCU movie, regardless of whether you love it or hate it. It feels like the only two films, and that's why these are to me the two best in the MCU. That it
Well,
felt like there was some kind of like oversee was No Way Home and Shang-Chi.
well, I feel like there's some oversight, and then sometimes there's not. Right? Like, I mean, like I said, this movie is filled with stuff that's setting up other Marvel shows and movies. So obviously,
Yeah.
someone was Kevin Feige was consulted, right? But then it also feels like it was done half-ass. It was like half-assed, right? Like they didn't really go the full effort in setting up these shows and other movies, right? And then on top of that too, you're juggling a personal story that they actually want to tell. They want to tell a story about T'Challa passing away, right? The rest of it to me feels like it's all shoehorned in. You don't need Namor in this movie. You didn't need Ironheart in this movie. And like
And I
that's the
think
part of the movies that it just feels like, why am I watching all of this? Like halfway through, they don't even really acknowledge his death. Besides like a couple of, oh yeah, he's passed away. I'm still sad. Right? He could have been in this movie still. Just get rid of the beginning and ending, and him just passing on the torch or whatever, where he disappears, it wouldn't make any difference to me.
I think the question needs to be asked: did Ryan Coogler even want to put Namor in this movie?
Well,
Because
I
I
want to
feel
know, did
like
he really want to make this movie?
because
think
he
so.
had a script and everything ready, and then this came out, and well, not came out, but like Chadwick's death happened, and it was like,
I
and I think that really threw him in a
oh
loop.
yeah. I mean,
Like
this
this
was not
was a
a
scenario
movie.
where unfortunate circumstances, I think, really changed
The
things.
movie
You
dramatically.
know what? I know all scoopers are wrong. It would have been better if Doctor Doom did manipulate all this war.
If Doctor Doom was in it, I still think it would have been even worse.
Honestly, I'm kind of glad Doctor Doom was not
Yeah,
in this movie because here's the thing.
Yeah,
I feel like again, the one thing I appreciate about this movie and also the first film is that it's not it's not a big crossover event thing. I mean, obviously this one's setting up Namor, but again, like Namor and his people were not introduced before this. So like I don't know, I feel like Doctor Doom while it would have been an interesting setup
hey Maxio.
because people are thinking like could he maybe be the big bad guy for Secret Wars? At the same time, I feel
which
like
I don't think he is.
yeah,
That's
I'm
my
not I'm not
bet with
I'm not
people.
leaning towards that I'm not leaning towards that either.
It's gonna
I'm
be your
just
evil Iron Man. I'm joking.
but again, I feel like he wasn't needed
I
in this movie as well.
yeah.
I'm actually glad they did not set that up. To me, the only
I,
thing I feel like they really set up and it was actually a fine setup was Ironheart. Because there was really
Iron.
nothing set up with Val that's gonna tell me what's gonna happen in Thunderbolts. There's nothing that's telling me Thunderbolts is gonna tie into this
There's
film.
no Thunderbolts related stuff here, and she
Yeah,
may not
exactly.
be. She may. I think she'll be involved with Thunderbolts, but
Well, she
yeah,
is.
yeah.
She's the one recruiting. She recorded.
Oh
Sorry,
yeah.
recruited two of out of all of them
It's
that
just
we've known.
why is
Right. So
Bucky part of Thunderbolts? Bucky is not exactly. It's like
Unless Bucky's gonna play some kind of like Rick Flag role where they're gonna ask him to keep villains in check.
I think that might
that
be
should be.
what it is.
Because let's
Oh
be
really?
real
That should
here.
be Thunderbolt Wasp, shouldn't it be? Shouldn't that
So,
be
well, here's
Wasp?
the thing.
As
Here's the
Red
thing.
Hawk.
What's gonna happen with Thunderbolt Ross and Captain America: New World Order?
I
Well,
heard
I
the
think
rumor
he's going
is.
to become Red Hulk.
I heard the rumor is that the rumor is the leader may not be the actual like leaders in that movie, but the rumor is it's just rumors, guys. You know, don't take it with a grain of salt. That the Thunderbolt Wasp is actually the real villain of Captain America: New World Order.
Mm,
Here's the thing. I feel like I wouldn't mind the Red Hulk thing, but here's the thing. Does anyone ever remember a time when, like, before like Captain America: Civil War came out, there was this theory that Ross was the actually real villain of Civil War, and he was going to turn to Red Hulk at the end?
yeah.
That would make no
Like
sense.
that was like the rumor, and I'm glad they didn't go with that route. I actually think what they did in
And
Civil War was way better. Because here's the
If,
thing, that would have been too much like Doomsday and BVS.
here's the thing. If they can introduce the family of Bruce Banner, basically Jennifer and her family, why can't they introduce Betty Wasp? Why is Universal just let her go, man? Like get
Well,
Betty Wasp finally,
doesn't like in Universal finally going to lose the rights next year?
Yeah.
yeah,
So
but
That's the
at that,
rumor.
and here's the thing: isn't like New World Order coming out in 2024? Just throw Barry Ross in New World Order.
Mm,
but
well, that might happen because New World
Tim-
Order comes out before Thunderbolts, right?
Yeah. So here's the thing: I think New World Order is going to tie into Thunderbolts by like essentially like saying like, okay, something happens to Ross at the end of New World Order, and like they're going to create some kind of team called Thunderbolts in his memory or something.
Maybe.
mhm.
Because like maybe he had this plan where he wanted to take these like villains or anti-heroes that he can control or something like that.
Well, it's basically the Suicide Squad. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well,
it's just
it's
It's
definitely gonna be
identical.
better than the 2016 film. I definitely believe it's gonna be better than that 2016 film.
ah,
The
The
better.
thing is
lineup
though,
is
it's like
just. Uh,
here's the thing. This is the one thing DC is beating Marvel at. Like they're beating them when it comes to certain things. Like obviously they beat them to the punch with the underwater hero, anti-hero, whatever you want to call it at this point.
mhm.
They beat to the punch with like the villain slash anti-hero team. Even though the first Suicide Squad was garbage, but the second one was phenomenal.
Mhm.
DC does a better job
Like
of
here's the thing,
anti-hero stuff,
DC,
though,
like here's the
overall.
thing, Wonder Woman a million times better than Captain Marvel and Black Widow.
Yeah. Okay, yeah,
Like
definitely.
here's the thing. Marvel obviously beat them to the punch as far as setting up a universe, having like continuity, having like a team up, having the hero team up films. But when it comes to like the smaller stuff, like DC is actually like knows what they're doing.
Yes. They actually do have better writing. I mean, Black Adam, not exactly the best writing. Birds of Prey, not exactly the best writing, but DC does have
But,
better
but when DC
writing.
like gets it right, they get it right.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what I'm getting at. When they get it wrong, they obviously get it wrong badly. But when
it's.
DC gets it right, they get it right very well.
I just think, with DC, I
And
think
also the
DC.
TV show, like Peacemaker, I think, with the exception of Loki, I will say Peacemaker is better than every single Marvel show that's come out.
I think Warner
Yeah.
Not including some of the Netflix stuff like Daredevil, but like it even then it's better than some of the Netflix stuff. With the exception of like maybe Daredevil and Loki, I think Peacemaker is better than everything else
I
that's
think
come out of Marvel TV.
I think Peacemaker is better than Loki personally.
Peacemaker's better than any Disney Plus show
Yeah,
of this Marvel.
because it had one of the best. I think it has one of the best
And
comic book character arcs for a TV show or movie.
and I'm gonna say this now, a year, I don't know, a year ahead, whenever this comes out, I think Penguin's gonna be better than any Marvel Disney Plus show either too.
Oh, I wouldn't be
Yeah,
surprised if it
yeah.
does.
If it's, I know Matt Reeves not directing it, but he does have influence on it, right? Like he's gonna be
Mhm.
consulting on, and I know the Batman. Look, the Batman. It's not action packed, but what made that movie was so good was the storytelling and cinematography and the soundtrack. That soundtrack was very heartbreaking, at times, and then very hopeful and inspiring. Marvel doesn't have a soundtrack like that for their movies. They don't have
Mhm.
like a soundtracks that make you feel. Black Panther tried with Wakanda Forever with
Oh, I
Rihanna,
actually like the sound track
Yeah,
and
the song was
score.
really good. And I'm not the biggest Rihanna fan, but I did like the song.
but what Batman did was like the music that played when you see Bruce devastated about how his father might have been involved in the reporter's death, and then you see the hospital scene with Alfred, and then he talk how he accused Alfred of lying, and Alfred explained himself, and then you see Bruce open up him saying how he thought he could master fear, but he couldn't. He's fear of losing somebody else. When he's talked about when he talked about that, the music, that perfect music just came on, like the sad music, like opening, it just came on. And then you know what's perfect? The ending song of the Batman, the Hope theme music. That was great, but is that the Batman had like
Mhm.
a perfect soundtrack that fits the character. Marvel doesn't really have soundtracks that fit the character that well, but the Batman does.
I mean, like I'll say like the Captain America's like
Yeah.
soundtracks like kind of fit like with what they're doing with Captain America. The first two Thor films, I feel like those soundtracks actually did kind of fit Thor, but then after that they
I
stopped
think
caring.
I think
Guardians of the
Benedict
Mhm.
Galaxy, I think fit well.
I think Benedict Cumberbatch is right. He did say a week ago that Marvel needs to do a better job of getting people, the feel for the characters.
Mhm.
I personally don't think he was happy with his character, Doctor Strange, too.
Well, yeah, Doctor Strange kind of was milk toast in that movie, and I
Yeah,
liked
It
that
was more like
movie.
Wanda.
yeah.
Yeah, I like the movie, but it felt more like Wanda's movie at times.
Yeah.
And look, that's not a shame against Wanda because I think her character arc is one of the stronger ones in the MCU. But to me, it like if it's Doctor Strange to the Multiverse of Madness, we got to focus more on Doctor Strange. See, that's the thing. I feel like the run times have become inconsistent. To me, I
Mhm.
think Multiverse of Madness was a film that probably should have been longer. Maybe not as long as this film, but longer than it ended up being.
Well, that movie should have just been about Doctor Strange, right? and I think it wasn't because it also wanted to be this multiverse cameo fest, but then it also wasn't that either.
No.
But I feel like you could have still done a Doctor Strange multiverse movie without Wanda,
Yeah, definitely.
especially after the events
Well,
of No Way Home.
she
You
wasn't
still
supposed to
could
be
have
the
done
villain
this
though.
with
She wasn't. It was supposed to
yeah,
be
didn't yeah, I
Nightmare.
think Scott Derrickson had a different direction with Wanda.
It was supposed to be
Yeah,
no. He didn't want Wanda. It was supposed to be Nightmare.
Nightmare.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's like
Nightmare.
concept art for it too.
Yeah, it was really supposed to be Nightmare, and that's what the creative difference is. That's why you left um the project and
Mhm.
said when we got it.
I'm never gonna forget the stupid thing Moth Culture said, where where Tobey Maguire was supposed to be in the film, and he could have
Oh
taken on
God,
Wanda. I'm like, no,
Yeah,
Wanda
yeah,
would have killed him.
moth culture is just
it's
the
it's
absolute
funny.
worst.
The word is geekosity. I'll say that.
Really, yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean, point out BS
Oh,
stuff.
by the way, I think Gigasi got the villain of this film wrong. Didn't they say like the villain of Black Panther Wakanda Forever was supposed to be someone else, not Namor?
I I
It
have
was
no
supposed to be
clue.
Namor for like
I
it was
wouldn't
supposed to
be
be Namor for like a
surprised.
year. It was supposed to be
Yeah, it was
Namor
like
for
a
like
year ago. Like even though everything, even before the trailer pointed to
no,
Namor
no.
being
Namor
the
was supposed to be
villain,
defended by everybody, but Doctor Doom was supposed to be the mastermind of the whole thing. That's all I was saying. And
Yeah,
then,
they probably said Doctor Doom was in it or
and
some bullshit.
and everybody like up to 2 weeks ago, oh, Doctor Doom has been cut. I believe Doctor Doom was never supposed to be in the film.
Never in the
I don't even.
movie. I agree.
Can I say this? I don't even think Doctor Doom's even been casted in the MCU.
That's what I
I don't
believe.
think Doctor Doom is going to even show up until
He
Phase 7. That's my
Exactly, because
belief.
here's the thing. They're saying they wanna go with somebody new for the first Fantastic Four film, which I
And it's not
honestly
gonna be
don't
Doctor
mind
Doom.
Mhm.
because the Fantastic Four have such a big rogue gallery, you don't need to go for Doctor Doom right away.
It's not gonna be Doom.
You can go with someone else. To me,
Doom.
to get people into seeing the new Fantastic Four movie, no matter how good or bad it is, you gotta do something different because both franchises started with having Doctor Doom. And I'm not saying it's the fault of Doctor Doom that those movies were bad, but the fact of the
No,
matter is that you need to get people in a different way.
the Doctor Doom in the first Fantastic Four movie. I know the sequel sucked, but I thought that was a good Doctor Doom
That
for what
Doctor
it was.
Doom was okay until he became Electro.
Yeah.
But before that, I didn't mind that version of Doctor Doom. The
Because
one in Fan Four Stick was complete garbage.
I don't know what that was.
Yeah, that. I mean, he
That
had
whole
one cool
movie was
scene
the whole
though.
movie
That
was.
he did have one cool scene. The scene where he's walking down the hallway, exploding everybody's head. It made no fucking sense, but it looked cool. That's the
Doctor
only thing I'll give that movie.
Or Doctor Doom was a hacker or something.
Yeah, he was like some hacker or some
I'm like,
bullshit. It was dumb.
it was stuff. Oh, the whole movie was bad. It's one of the worst comic
I
movies I've
will
ever seen.
say this about Wakanda Forever. It felt like the special effects in this film were way better than what we've got in the last two films.
It was better than
Yeah,
Thor.
I
Yeah,
didn't think it was that bad. I
yeah.
think
The special
the
effects.
only thing I will like kind of knock on the movie is it did feel like they were trying to hide the CGI because it was like everything was dark for
That's
some
my
reason.
issue. My problem.
Like you could barely see anything.
I thought some problem with the scenes in this movie was too dark.
Yeah,
Yeah, especially once they got to I always forget the name. It's not Atlantis, Talo or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
once they get there, I could barely see anything.
I'm like Aquaman did a better job of underwater.
Aquaman
Yeah.
definitely did a better job with
And
the
you know what I
underwater
thought?
scenes.
You know what I thought was a problem too? You know when the scientists and the Marines were doing their experiments to find vibranium underwater and they got attacked? I thought that was too dark. And even though the scene was in the
Yeah.
dark, I thought it was too dark.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
But like I definitely felt like the special effects in this film were way better. Like you know that scene in Thor: Love and Thunder when the kid, I even forgot the kid's name, that had the floating head, like that,
oh,
like Thor
Emil's
was talking.
son? Yeah, I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
like but
Yes,
see
that
that's
was
how much
awful.
I've
Yeah,
forgotten
that
from
was
Thor: Love and
terrible.
Thunder.
Yeah.
Like like this, how is it that when that movie came on Disney Plus, the CGI looked even worse? It's like they didn't even take the time to like fix it before it came to Disney Plus.
And
It actually looked worse.
Mm,
how can certain people say that this movie is the worst sequel since Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah, it's definitely not. No way.
I think Thor is the worst one since
Yo,
Wonder Woman
Thor.
84.
Like here's the thing. This movie isn't as good as the first Black Panther, but like this is still a lot better than a lot of the superhero sequels we've gotten, especially
If you know,
recently.
even though I'm talking about Brian Bro, it's the guy that wears a mask on his streams.
Mm-mm.
Oh my god. Oh my yeah. No, literally. Like here's the thing. Here's the thing. Well, like this movie's not perfect. It's far from perfect. It's not as good as the first film, but it's like I felt like the themes that it was at least touching upon, it did hit right. And like here's the thing. Regardless of how you feel about Namor as a villain, I'll still take him over the villains in Wonder Woman 1984.
I still have
Thor.
yet to see Wonder Woman 1984,
On
so I
this
can't
point,
even
it's not
comment
good.
on
it's not
that.
even
It's
worth
not
it.
good.
It's not even worth it. Like here's the thing. Kristen Wiig's Cheetah was basically what we've seen from other villains. Like Selena Kyle in Batman Returns, Jamie Foxx's Electro in Amazing Spider-Man 2, Riddler in Batman Forever. You get what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like the obsessed nerdy outcast.
hmm
And then Pedro Pascal's I like Max Lord,
He's
that's his
so
name.
Maxwell.
Oh my
He's so over the
gosh.
top.
He's
Yeah,
so yeah, it's
Mhm.
like how is it that this guy Pedro Pascal went from giving a phenomenal performance in The Mandalorian that month because Mandalorian came out in December 2020
season
to
2.
like
Yes, it did.
yeah,
Yeah,
season 2 and he gave a phenomenal performance to playing this over the
I,
top villain that like puts like
I,
Jim Carrey's Riddler to shame.
I think he enjoyed it though. I think he really loved it
I mean,
though.
that's fine if he enjoyed it, but I'm saying it's like it felt like he
It's
was
corny.
too cartoony.
But it's not Maxwell Lord though in the comics. Like he's very different in
But
the
like, here's the
comics.
thing.
Mhm.
Here's the thing. We talk about consequences in the MCU. What are the consequences for Wonder Woman 1984 with Max Lord?
Oh,
Like
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the thing. He had no consequences because he was causing all these problems. He didn't even get arrested. He just embraced
Blind
his son
Bill.
happily.
Basically, he got this magic stone that grants any wish, right? So he
Mhm.
got it. So he grants a wish that he wants to be the stone himself. So once he grants that, he can grant anybody their wish. So what
Mhm.
he does is broadcast live around the world, promising everybody what they want. And now what it does, it causes chaos. That's basically
Yeah,
how
that would cause a lot of bullshit. What
And
the
like,
fuck?
here's the thing. Everyone knew. Like, didn't he threaten like Reagan or whoever was the president in that film, like as well?
Yes, he
It's
did
like
go to the
you
White
threaten
House.
the president of the United States. Shouldn't
He
there be
did get arrested though. He
consequences?
did get arrested at the
You're
end.
you're making me want to see this movie
No,
now.
it's like literally like
This is so
literally
stupid.
he takes power from like the president, and it's like wouldn't the president arrest you, especially like someone that had like hawkish policies as like Reagan during the Cold War?
Yeah, this
Like,
is the
Mhm.
80s.
like
Yeah, the
you're
Cold
making all
War.
these wishes during the Cold War, like, and it's like, wouldn't any president, regardless of political party, just like arrest the person that's causing all this havoc, or demand this person to be arrested?
Mm-hmm.
Like especially at a time when like tensions are high, like around the world. Like, am I blind? Like, good lord! Like, this is the universe that basically held Superman accountable for stuff, and now we're not even holding accountable like this like cartoony
Random
villain.
dude.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He did get arrested at the end, so don't worry about it.
But it's just like my son. Like, where did his son come from? Like, his son just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, his son did come out of nowhere.
It's like it's way more random and convenient than the most random convenient scenes from other comic book movies, regardless of the universe.
Oof.
Like that's basically what I'm getting at. Like, here's the thing. This is like the one time where like I felt like, and I'm not saying this like sucking up to Zack Snyder. I felt like Snyder's influence should have been more in this movie, like it was in the first movie.
Mm.
It was not. It was Jeff Johns' like influence that really dominated this. And Patty Jenkins should not be writing screenplays.
Well, Paycheck is
Oof.
good movies though.
Yeah, well, but like I don't know. Either she
Well, she
should
has
not have.
two good movies.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. Look, I'm
Yeah.
not taking anything away from Patty Jenkins, but the fact that matters is she's mostly been tied to television.
Yeah, she's
Mhm.
yeah.
And the first movie she had before Wonder Woman was came out 14 years before Wonder Woman did.
With
Monster, I think,
Mhm.
was a 2003 film.
And Monster
Yeah.
was
Or
nominated.
I think it was 2005.
Like
Monster was like awarded for a lot of stuff and got a lot of awards.
Like, here's the thing, and I know with like some Marvel directors, a lot of them got their starts from TV, but it felt like more recently, like they got the next Marvel project. It wasn't like an over 10-year gap. I mean, except
Yeah.
for the exception of maybe Sam Raimi,
I'm telling you,
like because his last film was also great and powerful.
I'm telling you, some of the Marvel directors are going to cross over to DC.
Well, the ones that are definitely no longer working, like don't be surprised if like James
Even the
Gunn
ones
makes an
that might be
offer.
working.
Like, well, don't be surprised if like James Gunn makes an offer to the Russo brothers.
No.
Oh,
Well,
I
yeah,
hope not. I hope not. Please no.
Like, don't
We
be
need to get
surprised.
rid of them.
they're only good for Avenger movies. That's it.
Oh my god, the last movies they made are so fucking awful. I don't even think they should direct a
Yeah,
movie
that's the
ever
thing. That's the
again.
thing. That's the thing. The only good movies they made have been Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes,
and I'm not
yeah.
taking anything away because their Marvel movies are some of my favorites in the MCU. But again, you like the recent projects, like something's going on there.
I don't think they were ever good, to be honest. I think they had a fluke with Marvel. They had a really good idea. They executed it well. But their last movies, oh my god, they're fucking awful.
Didn't they direct Cherry that like movie
Yes,
Cherry? I never even seen that, but I heard it wasn't that
it's
good.
terrible. Oh my god. And Tom Holland in that movie's awful too.
I'll be fair. The only movies I see in Tom do good are actually Spider-Man.
Yeah, with Tom Holland. Yeah, I always felt like Tom Holland wasn't really a good actor, personally.
I think it's good. I mean, you don't need to be the best actor to play a Marvel character.
Yeah.
I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is a great actor, but look at his first project after Endgame.
I think
Yes, yeah.
I think DC kind of do, except for Gal Gadot, because I don't think Gal Gadot is a good actress.
Yes, yeah, that
I
too.
mean, I think she's gotten better than when she first started out,
I think
but compared to like, let's be real here, like Henry Cavill. When you see Henry Cavill and other stuff outside
Superman.
DC, he does very good.
Mhm.
When you see
Gal
like
Gadot struggles outside of DC.
Jason Momoa, like and other projects outside of DC, he does very good. Ben
Yeah.
Affleck, like he's good. Not the best, but like in other
I would
projects,
say
he
Ben
was very
Affleck
good.
is good.
Yeah, yeah.
God,
Like I mean, he's better than like when he first started out. He was a bit cringe, but like he's improved since he first started out.
The thing is, what I found
Margot
with DC
Robbie look like Margot Robbie's a phenomenal actress.
I think playing the Batman villains are the hardest comic book characters to play
mm,
because
And
they're
yeah,
very gimmicky. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I feel like they translate to film better than most
no,
comic
you need.
villains.
I
in
think you
both
need
DC
really
and
good. I
Marvel.
think you need really good actors to play a Batman villain.
yeah.
But again, I feel like they have translated better on the big
And
screen.
that's not Jared Leto. Jared Leto's not a good actor.
Yeah. Let's be real here. Jared Leto is never come back to the DCEU.
No, yeah, he's done. He's never coming
Listen,
back.
he ain't come back. Listen,
Anybody
Henry
who
Cavill
suggests it is that's a
Insane.
bold-faced lie.
come back.
It's a
Like
bold-faced lie. Yeah.
Ben Affleck, I think has a high chance of coming back.
They're
Jared
gonna have to
Leto's coming back.
recast Joker. I think that's what's gonna happen, to be
Wow.
And
honest.
honestly, I think the actors won't mind it if that
I
happens.
think Batista's jumping with DC.
Yeah,
I think so
I
too.
definitely think
Listen,
so.
he's definitely like with James Gunn involved. He definitely will be. He was gonna be in the Suicide Squad until he got the opportunity to work
I
with
mean,
Zack Snyder. And
Yeah,
Army of
he
the
was
Dead.
well, you know, he was supposed to be Peacemaker.
He was.
He was
So,
supposed to
like,
be, yeah.
That was yes. Yeah.
It was because of Army of the Dead that he couldn't
Why did he choose
can
Army
do
of the Dead over
Peacemaker.
but I think James Gunn still has the door open for him to do other projects.
Batista chose the wrong movie, man.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Look,
That would have been super
I don't-
interesting. Oh my god.
Yo, here's the thing. Batista, in my opinion, is one of those actors that actually has gotten better. That's like listen, John Cena and Dave Batista are way better than The Rock. They are way better actors than The Rock.
Are you okay?
Here's the thing.
Is that a sneeze?
Yeah, that was a sneeze. Here's the thing. The Rock can act. No.
The Rock?
Yeah, he can act. We need.
No, I have to disagree.
Here's
I
the
have
thing.
to disagree.
His best role right now, in my opinion, was playing Hobbs in the Fast and Furious films. I'm not taking anything away because he was great in that role, but he
He's
hasn't
playing himself.
he
It's
hasn't
undeniable.
No,
in
he's
all these
not.
other
Actually,
movies.
play himself. He's
He
not like
he
that.
I don't know. It just feels
He's
like
Don't
he's
think
very
so.
much.
playing the same character.
He's
Watch
he's playing a okay. He's playing himself as how he depicts himself on in interviews and all of that, like very charismatic, kind of
very
edgy
charismatic.
sometimes.
Oh, that sounds
The
like
Rock is has like no range whatsoever. Like even in Black Adam, I felt like he was the worst part of Black Adam, the performance he gave, because it was just like so stiff. It just wasn't his role, but he
I
still
mean,
was playing it. It was really weird.
Batista. I like Batista, but I think he tried to range. I think Army of the Dead when he tried to make him cry. When he tried to
But
cry in Army of
Batista
the Dead.
is a better actor. I'm not sure if you've seen Batista and other things, but he is definitely a better actor than The
But
Rock and John Cena.
Batista was the best thing about Army of the Dead.
I mean,
Yeah.
Like that, like he was the best
John
thing
Wait
about.
Cena.
until
John,
you see. Hold on, Aaron. Until you see Knives Out 2, uh, you will understand that Batista is a good actor. Like he's better than John Cena and The Rock. Like there's no question.
John Cena. Man, John Cena is a good. I mean, he did a lot of
But here's the thing though.
cheesy movies at
Before,
the beginning. John Cena
bef-
could freestyle, man.
look, I'm not taking anything away from John Cena, but let's be real here. I feel like, really only established himself once he played Peacemaker. I feel like that
Yeah.
was his breakthrough because before that, I felt like he was going down the route that other wrestling actors were going down. But then when he played Peacemaker, it was like he finally differentiated himself.
Hmm. Yeah, he had more range with that character.
John Cena. I'll tell you this about John Cena. I think he has more range than Batista because I think he has more natural charisma and he's a
Well,
little more
what have
creative
you
than
seen
Batista.
Batista in? I can't believe you're
I
saying this. What have you seen Batista in? Batista
I
was
have
in a lot of different stuff that I feel like shows his
no, but
range.
I'm saying as a person from what I see from wrestling days, John Cena has a lot more charisma, is a lot more creative than Batista is, and I think that's why he eventually when he does more movies, and if he does more serious roles, you'll see the better actor come out of John Cena than Batista.
But until then, right now,
Until then,
Batista's
it's
He has
still
more.
that's the
Batista.
thing.
I think he has more potential and has a has higher peak than Batista does. That's what I'm
But
saying.
again, he needs to show that because
I know he needs to show that.
as of right now, Batista's
Batista
like above
is
that.
like it's not even a question. Yeah, like Batista is the
Look,
one
here's the
that
thing.
is the
Even
better
if the
actor.
movie is not good, Batista's performance is still the best thing about that movie. It's
Like,
still
are
the
you
top.
forgetting that Batista was in Dune? He's completely unrecognizable in Dune,
I
and
was thinking about
he's going to continue working with what's it called uh, Danny Villeneuve. So
And
I
that's
don't
that's a
really agree
director
with that.
that's a director that's gonna continue to elevate him.
Yeah.
get John Cena. Well, James Gunn, get John Cena a good director, like a really great director. You'll see it come out, John Cena.
Okay, well he's got to pick better projects though because
Yes,
Dave John Cena has yet to work with the director on the level of
I
Denis
know.
Villeneuve. So I don't. I just can't.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You're right now. Batista's ahead of him in terms of and all that. But I'm saying if John Cena gets more serious, has more serious roles, you'll see him do a better job because he has a lot more natural talent than Batista does.
Well, I want to see him in a role that's like again,
Yeah,
like
that's what I
Blade
mean.
Runner and Dune.
That's what I
Because if
mean. That's
he's
what I said.
if he can't, because that's like not so. I mean, it's he's like transforming himself into a different character, right? While Peacemaker is kind of like John Cena, but just a little bit more edgy and a bit of more of a man child, which I don't think is hard to play. But like when you're playing a character that is like just what he did in Dune, right? Where who he is just this those people are kind of like brainwashed individuals, right? Just like these cultists, right? I'm forgetting the uh, the people in Dune, and they're like all gray and bald.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I got to rewatch Dune.
I just really can't. And then he was in Blade Runner too, and he's going to be in Knives Out, and he has a really good role in Knives Out too. Like probably better than Chris
Yeah, the
Evans
thing
in
is,
the first movie.
when I watch Batista in wrestling, right? I'm not the thing of what they made him do is all this tough guy look. He's a big guy, he's all tough. So they didn't really let him show his natural personality come out in
And
wrestling.
also too, let's be real, Drax as a character is has a lot of range too.
Oh, he hates playing Drax.
But again,
He
even
hates
still,
playing Drax because Drax in the comics is a very complex character.
He's a badass in the
Like
comics compared to the.
he's very emotional. Like he has to deal with the death of his daughter, and then his daughter comes back. I mean, like it's not even comparable to what is going on in the MCU.
I
I
know.
mean, the freaking video game did a better job with Drax, but still, like Drax is he's a funny character. He has shown emotion. He has some of the best lines in
yeah.
the Guardians
All
of the
the,
Galaxy movies and
all the
in Infinity
Guardians,
War and Endgame.
all the Guardians
So like,
movies do.
yeah.
All the Guardians movies really do is basically Star Lord and the Gamora. That's it.
No, no, no,
No,
no. I
no, no.
disagree. I disagree
Here's the
heavily.
thing. Here's the thing.
Groot.
At least the first
No, no,
one,
no.
True.
at least the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie is one of the best MCU movies. They like here's the
Yeah.
thing. The Guardians. This is what makes, in my opinion, the Guardians better than the Avengers. They feel like a team.
They
They feel like
actually feel like real characters, in
they
my
feel
opinion.
like
Like you can
group
buy
of
them.
people that have each other's back.
Yes. Yeah, no, I
That's what
really
James
I
Gunn
have to
does well
disagree,
with.
Aaron. The Guardians of the Galaxy are probably the most fleshed out characters in the MCU, like by far. I mean,
Except
Mantis,
Drax.
even though we barely seen Mantis, Mantis has an emotional connection going on with Drax. And it's just
Yeah.
in a small scene in the second movie. Like
And like
I
even though Drax isn't as comic book accurate, what Dave Bautista is able to still do with the character is still better than like half the heroes in the MCU.
uh, Aaron, just imagine if they did the scenes in the video game with Drax. Like
Yes.
that would have been really emotional for a lot of
Yes.
people.
Yes. Yes.
There's no emotion in I would say in the MCU like that video game because it's
Well,
super emotional, especially with Star Lord and him trying to figure out if he's a father or not, and like he has to come to terms with that, and then Drax has to literally let go of his dead family. Like that was really emotional. Like no,
yes. That
there's
whole
nothing in the
scene.
MCU that's comparable, in my opinion.
No. No.
Like the only thing that is comparable is this movie is Black Panther. That especially that ending when she sees when Shuri's like, "Oh, I'm an ant." That was very
MCU.
emotional.
MCU. They try. They try to make stuff emotional. They have like most of the films don't. You don't. Most of the stuff you don't. They don't do a good job of it. Like the DC kind of does somewhat.
The
Batman does.
DC failed when they killed Superman off in their second film.
I know.
Yeah.
Like let's be real here. Superman's death, I think, would have been more emotional if they did a Superman trilogy in the DCEU and the
Yeah.
Doomsday thing happened in the third film after not just two solo
That
Superman
was
films, but
bad.
maybe
Yeah.
but maybe two Justice League movies that came before that. They did not establish Superman well. See, here's the thing: there's a difference between
How's
like the
Zack
death
Snyder that?
of an established character, like let's say like Iron Man or even T'Challa, where it feels more emotional because it felt like that those characters, regardless of how many movies they were in, it just felt like they were established better. Where like this was happening at the beginning of the
Did he?
DCEU.
Did he ever give? Nobody was at Black Widow's funeral.
Yeah, Black Widow didn't even really have a
Yeah,
funeral.
but even then, Black
She had a
Widow's
great.
death.
Well, they couldn't get the body right.
Yeah, but even then,
Yeah.
Black Widow's death, I felt like still had more. There was still a more emotional baggage than Superman's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Superman came back in the next movie he was in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I get it. I know the Black Widow film like came out after Endgame, but at least like they established that was a prequel.
Yeah.
They're
Kind of
like it's not
prequel.
like she came back to life and is like just running around like doing nilly willy.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
would
There. I mean, in my opinion, the only emotional arc is Peacemaker. I like the DC characters, in my opinion, like haven't really had much of an arc.
I mean let's be real.
Well,
here.
the Batman.
Are
The
we-
Batman was a good start off with a good point with emotional.
but that's not the
Peacemaker.
DCEU.
But
though.
that's not the DCU,
But
and
we're
I
talking
would
about-
even say it wasn't that emotional. Like it's a standard Batman arc. Like Peacemaker actually has to come to terms with killing his idol.
Well, his
Like
father.
that. Well, not just his father. He killed Rick Flag. Like the whole show is about the fact that
Oh yeah.
he actually liked Rick Flag as a hero. He looked up to him, and he killed him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has to deal with his dad, who's just like this monstrous piece of shit who abused him
Yeah.
as a kid.
Oh,
And
Well,
like,
here's
and
the
then
thing.
he killed his brother. It's like that's like an insane arc.
it is.
Well, here's the thing. The only the second most emotional arc, in my opinion, the DCEU, is the Shazam arc, Billy's arc, because like
Yes,
he wants to his mom,
that's a
like
good arc too. Yeah, I forgot about
so
that one.
like
Yes,
that's the only other one that I would say has been a really good one because
and people hate
look,
that movie. That's crazy.
yo, I don't know
You see
why
how people?
Shazam is a great movie. I hate that people crap on that movie. Like, here's the thing: they have one of the better DCEU villains.
Uh,
They got a really good arc for the hero, and and like, here's the thing: it didn't have it was a fun superhero film
uh,
that still found a way to take itself seriously when it needed to.
I have a
Mhm.
fun I have a fun story.
That's what a lot of comic book movies struggle
Uh,
with.
I had a fun story to tell you. I was with family yesterday, right? And my 10-year-old
Mhm.
cousin likes comic book movies, right? Mostly into Marvel, but he did see Black Adam. So we're talking about Black Adam. He asked if I asked him if he enjoyed it. He liked it a lot. He liked it a lot. He's like, all right. And he mentions the
Mhm.
Superman scene, and I'm like, yeah, they didn't want to do Black Adam versus Superman, that or something like. And he's like, no, but he's a Shazam villain. I'm like, yeah, yes. I'm so happy to hear that.
That's just. Oh man, The Rock must be like punching the air right now.
Like,
Yeah, The Rock is the one that doesn't want him to be a Shazam villain.
yeah. Well, but here's the thing: the two heroes the two characters we brought, Peacemaker and Shazam. The problem though is like they're not the faces of the DCEU. The faces
Mhm.
have to be the Trinity. And here's the thing: how much longer
Black
is
Adam with face.
DC gonna beat Steve Trevor's dead body into our faces? Because there's that growing rumor that Wonder Woman 3 could deal with her seeing Steve Trevor in the other world or something. It's like, really?
Oh
Yes,
We're
God.
gonna do
yeah.
we're gonna beat this thing again
I don't think that's true.
oh, I hope it's not true because if we get another Steve Trevor arc, I'm just like
I don't even think the
I'll
script is
literally
written.
throw up. Like, I want to see something new with Wonder Woman. Like, I love the first Wonder Woman film, but here's the thing: you
But
gotta
I think
always do something
we know
different.
why though, because like they just don't know what to do
Yeah,
with her. Like they just
That's it.
assume, well, she's a woman. Let's just do
Then
like
they
a
need to
love
get a
arc.
new director. They need to get a new director that can actually do something different instead of bringing Patty Jenkins back.
I mean, well, I never saw Wonder Woman 84, but like, is her arc even like about love, like moving on?
yes. But the problem is Wonder Woman 84 kind of contradicts
Yeah, it contradicts
BBS and
what
Justice
was
League.
set up. Look, I'm not saying what Zack Snyder did was perfect or anything, but it basically contradicts what Zack Snyder did
Yeah.
set up because he introduced this character,
Mm.
And
and
she
that's why
said,
there's a continuity problem
and
in the
she said,
DCU.
she said she stepped away from humanity since like Wonder Woman's first Wonder Woman movie, right? Like in
Hmm.
BBS, and she was
Yeah.
Wonder Woman in the 80s. I'm like, what?
Oh Jesus.
See, like here's the thing: it always makes sense to bring directors back, like let's say James Gunn, that actually either like does something different or like does or
Knows the
like at least
character.
knows the characters. Like that's why I have no problem when Marvel brings back James Gunn or John Watts or even like the Russo brothers. Why does DC need to keep bringing back Patty Jenkins when it's clear that her second film is so inferior compared to those other films that those other directors made?
Well, am I
That
the only one who hates when they just pair up Wonder Woman with anybody, like any dude? It's always infuriating to me because I always felt her like she doesn't really have a lot of relationships. So when I see her
she
with
don't
Batman or Superman, it just feels weird.
she don't the thing
I
is like this is a character that like shouldn't even be established with whatever man she's dating. She's Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
she,
yeah, I've always felt that.
Here's the
Yeah,
thing.
like
Here's the thing. Not every superhero needs to have a love interest.
yeah, I agree.
Like here's the
Especially
thing.
like giving a female, the most prominent female character. Like, does she really need to have a love
I
interest?
get it. There are certain characters that like obviously the love interests are prominent, like Superman, Spider-Man. Wonder Woman has never been one of those that had a love interest that was so prominent in their lives, in my
Well,
opinion.
the female heroes in Marvel really don't have a lot of interest. Black Widow, well, Black Widow did kind of flirt with everybody, but she didn't have like a
Yeah, she flirted, but
one
she
love
never.
Yeah,
But there
interest.
was never
yeah,
any
Captain
but she
sort of
Marvel,
wasn't.
relationship. And
Captain
things.
Marvel doesn't have a love interest.
Well, I kind of hate that Black Widow just. I mean, maybe that's just her character, but she was just flirting with anybody. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, like, and they never go anywhere with. They never develop relationships with her. Like, they really
I'm
her
glad they never did anything with
her.
that
I'll say
Banner
this:
Romanoff
I
relationship.
Yeah,
love
that was
I love
terrible. Yeah.
I love Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, but her arc but her arc, I say she's under kind of utilized. They really didn't do much like great things with her. Like her and Hawkeye were kind of shafted among the Avengers, if you think about it, in terms of development,
Hmm.
character development, because Hawkeye had a family, but they didn't really do anything after till Infinity War and Endgame, and then this Hawkeye and Black Widow was like after Endgame with
Mm.
her own movie, right? Like they really those two characters kind of shafted, if you ask
There
me. And
really
everybody.
was no excuse to kind of shaft them either.
Yeah, I
Like, here's
know.
the thing: like, at least you can make the case that okay, the whole Universal Hulk thing, like that was, I get it, that was a problem when it came to trying to get the Hulk like more movies to develop himself because they did want to do more Hulk movies apparently, but unfortunately, like Universal, like that whole thing like fell flat. But it's like they could have like even if they didn't like they could have at least done like a Black Widow Hawkeye team up film.
Yeah.
Yes.
They
I
could
mean,
have at least
Hawkeye
done that.
should have been prominent in the Black Widow movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's just
Well,
some
you know what?
influence.
What could have been a better movie? Like how Hawkeye found Black Widow.
Yeah.
That, in my opinion, I think that would have made for a better movie. Maybe not the best movie, but it could have at least made for a better movie.
Well, I would have want to see their friendship, right? Like a lot of
Yeah.
people just assume it's like a lovers thing, but I
No, they're
mean,
never.
it would have been better if it was just two friends and one was just looking out. Like you don't see that. You don't fucking see that in the MCU. Like people just looking out for each other because they're friends.
That's what I mean.
Mhm.
The Avengers are not good friends with each other.
No.
Yeah.
They are not good friends with each other. They like Phase 4 is proof of that. Like they are leaving others out high and dry.
People are dying and they
I
don't give a
mean,
shit.
you think the
Like
Justice League would be
it's crazy.
Quick question. If these guys were good friends, wouldn't someone have like came to Spider-Man's defense when he got framed by Mysterio?
Yeah. Nobody did. No one gave
No,
two
nobody did.
shits.
The only one that bothered to like do anything to help him was Doctor Strange, and he made
And
things
he
worse.
did it. Yeah, and he
Batman.
made things worse.
I'll say this. I
Exactly.
say this. As much as Justice League sucked, Batman looked out for his teammates.
Yo,
He
here's the
saved.
thing. Here's the
Well,
thing. He did
I
one
said
thing.
when No Way Home came out, right? I also said Peter was a terrible friend because he thought he knew better than MJ and Ned, right?
Yeah.
At the ending. He
Well,
was
I
just
mean,
like, no, I have to do this. It's like you're going to throw your friendship away because you can't live the consequences of everybody knowing that you're Spider-Man.
I mean that's
Like that
always
seems
been a
so
Peter
shitty.
Parker thing, though. I feel like, in
I,
fairness,
I s- but at this point, like seriously though, it just feels so shitty to me.
well,
Like Peter would have just accepted that his identity was out there. It's
I
like
mean,
it's
yeah,
out there. Like why are you gonna cry over spilled milk?
most of the Avengers are known to the public.
Yeah, so I just feel like you can't just because it's like the comics doesn't mean like oh we have to fucking you know what I mean? Like you the consequences were already set, right? Like try to figure out a way of
It's not
dealing
like the
with his
comics where the villains are all
public
alive.
identity.
It's not like the comics where all the villains are all alive at once. Like they're gonna go after him.
Well, one of the biggest problems with Spider-Man comics right now is that they have no clue what to do with Spider-Man.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. So like what is going on with Spider-Man in the comics? Like
It's a mess. It's an
why
absolute
do they
fucking
have to
mess.
make Peter Parker so damn miserable all the time?
Because
Here's the thing.
like I
To-
said,
to-
they don't know what to do. It's
To
sad.
me, the like first of all, to me, Spider-Man comics went downhill with One More Day and Brand New Day. That was
Yeah.
the beginning of the end because it's like we had to erase his marriage to Mary Jane. It's like we couldn't just let Aunt May die and like have Peter Parker navigate a world where not just people knew who he was, but he's without like his last family.
Yeah.
But at least he still has his wife.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. George, to your point, how the Avengers are bad friends to each other. Batman in the DCU has looked out for his teammates. He
At
looked out
least,
for.
like that's the thing. That's the thing. And maybe it seems that like here's the thing.
This
At
is
least
Batman too.
Batman's been a good bro to his teammates. Listen, if Batman was in the MCU, you'd be damn right he would like look out for all these people. It would probably
Yo, Batman
Yeah.
would have been at T'Challa's funeral.
Batman would have gotten Peter and his friends into a college. And then he
Batman,
would never have to go to Doctor
Batman would have prevented Civil War. All he had to do was look close and see if it's Bucky or somebody else, and Civil War over with.
Well, here's the thing. Batman would have also like cleared Spider-Man's name. Like he may not clear his identity, but he would say no, Mysterio was the real bad guy.
Yeah, find a way. Yeah.
But like that's the thing. Batman would have probably fixed a lot of these mistakes, or at least made these things better for the heroes.
And people say like some people say, "Oh, Batman's just selfish." No, Batman's
he's
the
not.
most non-selfish
No.
hero there is in DC.
Listen, and by the way, rest in peace to Kevin Conroy.
Kevin
In my
Conroy,
opinion, the best Batman ever. If you watch
He is Batman.
that scene where his Batman is comforting Ace despite all the damage Ace has done, despite Ace having the power to kill him, he sat with her and comforted her in her last moments.
I'll tell you what. That's one of the best scenes, comics or TV or animated.
That is Batman, in my opinion. That is Batman. That is something I can see Matt Reeves' Batman doing.
And then people want just an angry Batman. I'm like, yeah, Batman's angry, but he's not a monster, you know?
Yeah, he's not.
Like, here's the thing. People show all these pictures of Batman with guns. I'm like, okay, how many of these are Elseworld stories, first of all?
Yeah, or out of context. Majority of them are out of context.
Or how many of these were way before the no killing rules were established? Like how many of these were in the
Well, here's the fun fact. Do you want to know when? Do you want to know a fact? This is a fact that a lot of people don't know, and it's a hilarious one. The no-kill rule came before Alfred was even introduced.
I think you've said that before.
Yeah.
Well.
Yes, people do not know this, but this is true. Yes, Batman did kill when he was in the Golden Age, but eventually they changed it.
Here's the thing. I will say, because a lot of people will say, well, Dark Knight Returns. Like, Dark Knight Returns is an Elseworld story. It's not canon. And if you love that Elseworld story, that's great. I'm not taking anything away from that story. But that's not canon Batman. And it's like, that should not be the main universe Batman. Now, if that's like a multiverse Batman, if you do a multiverse Batman movie, okay. But that should not be the main continuity Batman in your DC universe.
Hold on. I see Arkham said Cherry was good. No. That movie is awful. There's no way I'm taking that. Listen. That's not a second L. That's an L for you. No way.
Oh my god. Listen. Like I never saw Cherry. I can't say anything because I haven't seen the movie to make my own opinion about it.
It's not even that it's poorly written. It's poorly edited. Whoever edited that movie, they were trying to get an Oscar. Yes. It was on Apple TV Plus.
In my opinion, I think Apple TV content is among the weakest content.
Well, here's the thing. They shipped it around, right? Everybody knew this movie was getting made. It was based on a book. And they try to ship it to Netflix. They were trying to put it out in theaters, but no one wanted to buy it. And everybody was like, "Oh, why? It has Tom Holland. It's supposed to be an Oscar bait movie." Well, it's because it's dog shit. That's why.
Just because it has an actor that does well in a comic book movie does not mean it's going to be good right away. How many? Quick question. Look at Doolittle. That's a garbage movie.
Just go and watch it. I dare you. I'm telling you, it's awful.
Right after Endgame, Robert Downey Jr., his first role after Avengers Endgame, where he gave a phenomenal performance, where he had an emotional death. What was the first movie he did? The crappy Doolittle movie. That just because they're in a comic book movie that you love, they do well in the comic book, they do well with the performance, does not mean they're always going to do well in their other roles.
What was the last Robert Downey Jr. movie that was good besides a Marvel movie? Tropic Thunder? With Sherlock Holmes?
The Sherlock Holmes movies.
Yeah.
I think it was just the Sherlock Holmes movies that were the last like good movies that he was in. I know he was in some kind of like movie in 2014 about a judge. I don't know how well received that movie
Yeah,
Yeah,
was.
that was with
not
his
very well.
dad. It was not. Yeah, that was with his dad.
I think that got a mixed response though. I know the Sherlock Holmes movies got good responses from critics and audiences.
He hasn't
Because I
really
like
been
the
in much.
because
I
because
don't
I
know
did
why.
because I
So
love the first
weird.
Sherlock Holmes film. I like the second one, even though it's not as good as the first one.
I know,
I feel like,
don't give me
as
that
far as a
bullshit he's committed to Marvel. That's why he couldn't do other stuff.
Yeah.
That's a
well, he's
lie.
gonna be in Oppenheimer, the next Christopher Nolan film for next year.
He's doing
So
an HBO show.
Yes. Yeah.
He
yeah,
got cast in an HBO show with
Well,
Korean
I
girl.
hope that Oppenheimer movie is good because I hated
yeah.
Tenet. Tenet was awful, in my
Yes, it
opinion.
was. Yes, it
But
was.
here's the thing. Here's another Marvel star that appeared in something recently that got a mixed and negative response. Florence Pugh,
But
wasn't she in
Neymar's
Don't
not
Worry,
Asian
Darling?
though. Neymar's not.
Yeah, people say that. I think a lot of people wanted him to be Asian because he looks Asian, but he's not Asian. Yeah.
Okay.
He's
Yeah,
from
I don't get where
Atlantis.
that.
Atlantis is not
Like
has nothing to
Okay.
do with
Okay.
Asia.
In
here's the
this,
thing. Isn't like wouldn't it be the Pacific Ocean if he was Asian?
okay, I'll let you
Well,
guys
he's from
know.
Atlantis.
Okay.
Atlantis
That's
is
what I
Greek.
mean.
It's
Yeah.
Greek. You look more Greek. Here's the guys. Okay. In this movie, Namor is more relatable to native tribes of Mexico, right? Mexico, the natives of Mexico from early history probably traveled from Asian countries centuries ago. But that's probably, but that's not, but Namor was never Asian in the first place. He was,
That's what I mean.
He
Just
was
because he was
drawn in a
written to
way
look
that
like.
made people. Why is Jim Lee confirming that he's Asian? He
I
didn't
mean, for
create the
goodness
character.
sake, hold on. In the early Spider-Man comic books, Peter Parker had a big ass forehead. Don't people remember how Peter Parker's design was like back in the early days?
Well, there's a lot of characters that have been like unconfirmed, right? Like unofficially, like Peter Parker's supposed to be Jewish,
Yeah,
right?
like that's like a
But they
rumor
don't
that keeps
portray him
going.
as Jewish. Yeah, some, and then even like the Thing, um, Jack Kirby wanted him to be Jewish, but like there's not really much stories with him
I
showing
mean,
that he's Jewish.
was it in the
So it's a
first
little bit
Spider-Man?
weird.
Was it in the first Spider-Man film Aunt May praying before Green Goblin attacked her?
I'm not
So
sure.
like, wouldn't that make the Parker family like Christians or Catholic? Because she was saying,
well,
because she
yeah, I
was
Hmm.
know what you're
saying,
talking
'cause she
about
was
at the
saying the Our
bed. Yeah.
Father. Like, because I'm a
Hmm.
Catholic, so like I saw like she was saying a prayer, so she's like Catholic Christian or something, at least in the Raimi universe.
Yeah, you're right.
Hmm.
So wouldn't that make like Raimi Peter Parker at least like he was raised Catholic or Christian, even if he may not practice his religion?
Mm-hmm.
So
Hmm.
like he never was a practicing Jew, at least in the Raimi verse, and his religion was never established in any of the other shows or movies.
Yeah, but
Oh my!
what?
Here's the
I don't
thing.
know.
Here's the thing. In Secret Wars, is Namor really going to be that big of a
No.
character that they're going to have a multiverse version
Well,
of?
I don't think he's going to be a big character for a variant, but he has a significant role in
Yeah.
the Secret Wars 2015. He does something that is very significant to the story. That, I mean, based on what they've hinted in the MCU, it would make sense
What you're
to
doing,
do that scene.
what I think they're gonna do, he's gonna end up having a role in Secret Wars. He's gonna end up a
Well,
great
you know what
scene.
he does in Secret Wars, right? He is the one that is he's the only person that kills another planet, right? Because the Illuminati did not know what to do. They didn't want to kill everybody on that planet, and Namor was like, "Fuck it, I'll do it." And so he's the one that killed the planet
I
that.
don't think they're gonna do it in the movie though.
I mean, they said that they're doing incursions, so I mean, it
Yeah,
would
but
be cool if that scene was there. It would make sense.
but Civil War wasn't exactly like Civil War in the comics. I mean, Captain America was
Yeah,
Yeah.
alive.
but I mean, like if you were to pull a scene, right?
They were saying he's no better than Thanos. Actually, he's worse than Thanos
Mm,
Here's the
because he
thing.
could kill him.
Here's the thing. Even though Thanos' motivations like changed, like I thought he was still a way. He was still one of the better MCU villains. With like Namor, it's like the potential's there. It's just not being that potential.
mm.
like here's the thing with like Thanos, it felt like his motivations in Infinity War were explained better and were depicted better, even though they were different from the comics.
He explained why.
Like that's the thing. He
Wait.
explained why. It kind of felt like here's the thing, and that's a shorter movie than this film. I felt like they just never got to the point.
Okay. The question is he eternal in the movie?
No clue.
To
No
oh
clue.
my.
Because his
That's a
brother
whole
is
nother.
eternal.
That's a whole nother problem in the MCU that
Well, what's going on with
I
the
don't think
Eternals?
majority of the people care anyway. But
No.
Here-
But if you're
Here's
a
the
comic
thing.
book fan, with Star Fox.
yeah, the only people who care really about that is comic book fans. Yeah, because most
Mhm.
people don't even know anything about the Eternals, let alone his connection with the Eternals.
But here's the
Mhm.
thing. I feel like Eternals is going to be one of those projects in the MCU that I think is not going to be used as much as people think they are.
Well, I think they are going to be used. I think how they're going to be used though is going to be
No.
it's going to take a while
They're,
Yeah.
because
they're
what
coming
they're doing
back.
in the comics right now is they're having a celestial war, right? So it's
Yeah.
all these celestials coming back and trying to fight the Avengers and the X-Men and the Eternals.
Well, I think
So
well, here's the question: are the Eternals gonna appear in King Dynasty or Secret Wars or both?
I
No.
think one
No,
I
not
think
Kang Dynasty.
I don't think all of the Eternals will. I think obviously what's her name? I'm forgetting her name.
Sherry.
She's actually yes, she was
Seriously.
on the Avengers, right?
Seriously?
Like she was a member, right, in the '90s. So it kind of makes sense if she shows up.
Was it Cersei?
Yes.
This is okay. Hmm. Yeah, the one that that's with Icarus. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, but everybody else,
I
I
don't.
don't
I
really
don't
think
think.
so.
I don't think it Kang Dynasty. I don't think
'Cause-
you need to have every character in all the Avengers
Yeah,
movies.
here's the
Personally,
thing. Here's the thing. I feel like
I think Endgame is okay.
here's the thing.
Yeah.
Endgame. I think it made more sense in Endgame. Here's the thing. I feel like it makes more sense in Secret Wars to have everyone than it will to in King Dynasty. Because here's the thing, there's going to be a few movies that come out in between, and also shows that come out in between
Uh,
Kang Dynasty and Secret War. So just
hey, I have a
have those,
question. Like, go ahead.
just have those
Finish.
characters that you're not going to use in King Dynasty. Have them, maybe have their movies before Secret Wars, but after King Dynasty.
You know what? You know
Mhm.
what the joke is about Endgame is? When everybody came to the final battle, I'm like, how did they know where everybody was?
Doctor Strange
Well, it's
probably
because of Doctor Strange.
well, here's the thing. Did Strange tell Wong, listen, we're gonna have to open up all the portals for this one
But he needs
victory
to
to
do
work?
that. He needs to do that thing with the. He needs to do that thing to open a portal. He can open up multiple portals doing now, or just one. You know, he
Mhm.
needs that. He needs right.
Well, there was
Um,
some time in between the snap, right? Like
yeah.
when
Yeah.
Hulk snaps. So yeah, right when it happened, everybody came back already. They just didn't know, right, until obviously.
You know, you know what's funny too? Okay, they stopped. Okay, the 2019 Thanos is dead, right? No, 2018 Thanos is dead. That's the one that did snap, and they killed him 5 years later. But they killed 2014 Thanos, the one that came to the future, right? At the end of Endgame.
Mhm.
But I'm like, you know, the 2015, 16, 17, 18 Thanos is still out there, right?
Yeah. The
But
yes.
like,
Okay.
didn't
Yeah.
like they establish?
Based on the time travel, because it doesn't make sense. There's no repercussions.
Well, I
Well,
mean,
they just did that to have a battle at the ending. They're like, well, we can't
And
have a fight without Thanos, so they
I
just
know,
brought him
but
in.
I'll just say the 2015 Thanos could do that year. The 2015 Thanos could find a way to come to the future. And be like, oh crap, we have to fight the 2015 Thanos now.
Mhm.
Because you know, because
well,
it's not like time doesn't affect anything. Time travel in the MCU.
no, but then they say it'll only just create like branch timelines or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
So
what
like in
happens.
the
But then also
2014,
too, because of Captain America returning the stones, everything kind of was supposed to go back to normal, but doesn't make much sense.
no, they did a bad explanation of time travel in that movie.
Yeah.
I hope Flashpoint does a good job of explaining time travel.
Well, yeah. Well, oh my goodness, Flashpoint. The road to that movie is gonna be crazy.
Didn't Grace
Mm.
say it's gonna be canceled?
Should we
Oh
really do?
Jesus!
Should we
Did
really
you
take?
see? Speaking of Grace, did you see her ranking list? That was an awful ranking.
What
Oh,
I'm
what's
sorry.
she rank? What's she rank?
The MCU movies, like every
Okay,
single
what?
one that has come out so far.
And like
All of them?
what rankings
Yes.
specifically were bad?
What's your number one?
She put all the good movies at the bottom. She put like Guardians of the Galaxy at like 25.
Wow.
Wait. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
What other ones did she put at the bottom?
Um,
Wait, both Guardians or the first one?
the first
right?
one. The second one she rated higher than the first one. She said the first one was goofy and not good at all. I was like,
What's he talking about? So the second one was goofy too.
yeah, she ranked Shang-Chi higher than the Winter Soldier and
That
Oh
Infinity
my
War.
god.
listen, and I love Shang-Chi, but let's be real here. Winter Soldier's a top 5 MCU movie.
She's the second highest movie. I guess people would agree with her with this. Is No Way Home.
I mean,
Fine.
that's
Do you want to
fine,
get what
but
her first movie is?
oh my goodness.
What?
Just guess.
Not Thor.
Thor Ragnarok?
No. Thor Ragnarok was lower on her list, but she
Okay.
rated Love and Thunder higher than Ragnarok. So
Okay, that was a stupid thing to do.
yeah,
Age of Ultron.
it was Endgame. Endgame's her top Marvel movie.
Wait. She ranked Endgame ahead of Winter Soldier, Infinity War, and No Way Home?
I've seen
Yes,
this, Marcus. Yes, I've seen this woman.
Oh
Yes.
my goodness.
and then I think third was Wakanda Forever.
Wait, she ranked that higher than the first Black Panther film?
Yes, she said that she liked it more than first Black Panther, which is crazy. I
Oh
can't
my goodness.
really
Yo, the first
understand that.
Black Panther film is one of the best MCU solo films.
Well, a lot of this movie recycles the first Black Panther movie.
Yes, it does.
Yo,
Yeah.
like, oh my, yo, like, put did she like how'd she rank the first Iron Man film? I'm very curious to see where she ranked that.
Oh, that was also another controversial one. I forget where she put it. I think she put it on par, or it was lower than. It was like Thor: Love and Thunder, and then it was Iron Man.
Whoa. She, oh my. The first
Yeah,
Iron Man film is still one of the best MCU films ever made.
yeah. She all the MCU films
This is
that
the
people
first one.
like, she shat on. And then I think
But
her fourth movie was
Really?
either Shang-Chi, and
They
then
did
her
it on
fifth
purpose.
was Multiverse of Madness, or something
oh
like that.
my
I can't remember.
goodness. Oh my.
They did it
And
on
look, I like
purpose.
those
It was
movies.
really bad in my
No way
opinion,
are
but
those
it's an opinion,
movies.
but it's
No
terrible.
way are those movies like. Oh my.
Also, how do we give out L's, right? Like, do we give L's to people who have bad taste or that we just disagree with?
Here's the thing.
No,
Here's the
no,
thing.
you give them L's to people who disagree on a movie for stupid reasons.
Yeah, but here's
Like
the thing.
MCU people, give MCU
Okay,
people.
well, because Arkham keeps giving me L's. He keeps saying I got L's. I'm like, this is not even an L. Like most people would agree with me that Cherry's terrible.
Cherry
That's
got
an
a
L on
negative
you.
response. Like
Yeah. If
the
you think
majority.
the movie is good, I feel like that's an L.
No, like, here's the thing. I'm not gonna like. Here's the thing. If people like a movie think it's good, that's fine. But like,
and if you think Sonic Frontiers is better than God of War, I'm sorry, but that's an L.
Yeah, yeah. I think you can't be rating Sonic Frontiers anywhere near a 9
but
or an
blind
even
Bro,
8.
are you really surprised at Grace's rankings? I mean, this is the same woman that simped for Wonder Woman 1984. Although I
Yeah.
think
She
she hates
did.
it
She
now.
did.
She hates it
What?
now. Like, but no,
I,
because she said something
I
about it
mean,
being like.
I'm not opposed to people's opinion, but like if there's a consensus, right? Like, hey, this is good, this is not good, or like this is why people love this, or if I give you a well thought out argument of why something is bad, I mean, like the whole L meme, I feel like has been fucking just like watered down now. It doesn't even make sense. Like people are just throwing you L's because you disagree with them. It's like no, that's not how it is.
But
Like
here's the thing.
you got to
No,
say something really
she also like defended
crazy.
And
Morbius.
L
It's
and
like
L is, yeah.
She gave
Unless
Morbius
I'm,
Yeah.
a higher score than the Suicide Squad in Multiverse of Madness, and then she got upset when people disagreed with her. It's like, hold
Well,
on,
could you imagine if Morbius was in the MCU? That would have been in their top 5.
yo.
I'm not joking. It's true.
Yo, you know what? The way she simped for that movie, I would, you know what? I can see it
Well,
definitely in the top.
Multiverse of Madness is in her top 5, so that by that
if
logic,
Morbius,
Morbius would
if
be in her
But
Morbius,
top
wait a minute,
5.
wait a minute.
if
She put
Morbius in the
Multiverse of
MCU,
Madness in her top 5 when she gave it a mixed response. It's like, so wait a
if
minute.
Morbius is
She's
in,
hating
if
on,
Morbius is,
the majority of MCU movies that
Well,
people actually thought were better
this is
than her.
her excuse, right? She began the video and she said that she has changed her rankings based on like thinking about the movies again or just like rewatching them. And so this is why things have changed.
But you can't tell me your opinion of a movie's gonna change from like the spring to now in the fall. Sometimes
Yeah.
it takes like several months to like years for your opinion to change. Listen,
okay, whatever.
I used to not like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. It took me years to finally really like that movie. Now I love that movie, but for a while I didn't care that much about that movie. Like,
You know what's
oh my,
weird? I was watching Black
I've always
Panther.
liked that movie as a kid.
When I went to see
but
Black
like
Panther,
you get my point though.
Yeah,
when I
I
went
get
Like,
your
no
point
way
though,
did
yes.
her opinion of Multiverse of Madness just change like that quickly.
Yeah, I don't even really like watching a movie multiple times just because I might change
I
my
don't
opinion
either.
on something.
I don't
So
either.
I have to watch it a couple of years. Like my first impression is usually going to be what I stick with,
Hmm.
right? Because
You
that's my
know,
gut reaction.
you know what's weird? When I saw Black Panther, so I was watching the trailers. I'm like, wait, there's no Disney trailers. I saw Top Gun,
Mhm.
Top Gun trailer. Mission, no, not Top Gun. Mission Impossible, right? Mission Impossible. The other two, Creed 3 trailer looks really really good.
It
And there's
does.
another one.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, there's no Avatar trailer. Didn't even. I
Oh,
thought
you
they would
didn't
show
see it?
Kang at least. Huh?
You didn't see the Avatar trailer?
Yo, the
Oh, they
Avatar
didn't show it.
trailer's been tied to
I
every
think
movie that I've
did you
watched.
see it in 3D?
No,
You did?
no.
Okay, then maybe that's why. Because I didn't realize I was seeing it in 3D. I was so pissed off because I don't like seeing movies in 3D. But they have a section that is only for like 3D trailers, and Avatar
No,
was one of them.
but for Black Adam, I did see the Avatar trailer.
Oh, you did? Okay.
So for Warner
I
Brothers movie, I
that
saw it.
trailer, by the way. Speaking of that trailer, that new trailer, that was a mistake releasing that trailer because it was so bad. Like compared to the first one,
What, for
the
Avatar?
first trailer was amazing. Yes, but
Yeah,
that second
like
one is awful.
that's why I'm glad like the theaters, like at least when I've been going to the movies lately, they've been showing the first trailer. I don't know
Yeah, the second trailer's all over the place. I don't even know what the fuck's going on.
here's the thing. I feel like James Cameron didn't even need to release the second trailer.
Yeah,
I think the first trailer is enough to get
I,
seats
I'm
into the
not.
theater.
I'm not a huge Avatar person. Like,
I mean, I
I'm still
like it, but
excited.
I'm still excited for it. I'm not gonna simp for it like a certain guy with a Doctor Doom mask, but I still enjoy it.
yeah, he does sit for it.
Yeah, he definitely does. But like, and listen, I love him, but like, I had to make the joke.
Yeah, that's fair.
But like, I'm still looking forward to the movie.
Or
But
is Max gonna pay for your ticket?
no, I'll pay my own ticket because I actually do want to see it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go see that in IMAX. I need to
Like
see the
out
full
of curiosity,
experience.
who did Max buy tickets for so far?
H Bart and I think Bradley doesn't come around anymore.
Yo,
Mm.
Bradley, like hang on everything on Twitter nowadays.
Did he like Wakanda Forever? I didn't see his
I don't
take.
know. I don't know.
No, I don't think he did. But I know. Well, I mean, everyone likes to hate on Soups, but he was like complaining about something Soups did. But
Mm.
then again, Soups, like this guy, he complained about people freaking out over Rihanna's new song in Wakanda Forever. Meanwhile, he filmed himself overreacting to Superman's return in Black Adam.
Yeah, I did see that. I thought that was stupid. He was like, "Oh, people who walk out of the post credit scene. Maybe I walked out of the post credit scene so I don't have to deal with bozos like you. Did you ever think about that?"
Yo, like here's the thing. Like And here's the thing: not everyone probably can stay that long for the post-credit scene. Like people do have lives outside of movies. Like here's the
Or
thing:
most people don't really care. Let's keep it real. Most
I mean,
people
let's
don't
be
care.
real. For some people, they don't even need the post-credit scene
The
to get
Mar-
excited for the next
No,
movie.
oh,
no.
The Marvel ones.
Yeah, like
But
What?
this
listen,
this post credit scene, I will agree, it's not a post credit scene. That should have been at the ending of the movie. That should have
yeah,
been how you
Oh,
ended the
that they
movie.
didn't. This movie didn't even need a
T'Challa.
post-credit scene. Yeah,
Yes, that was very emotional in my opinion. That was very
yeah, that was
touching
very
in my opinion.
emotional. Like, yeah, no,
Yeah,
I loved that mid-credit scene. But let's be fair,
That was better than the
was
beginning.
yeah.
that didn't need to even be a mid-credit scene. That could have just been how the movie
Hmm.
ended.
Yeah,
But let's
That's
yeah, I
be
agree.
frank. Is the thing, I don't, as much as I love staying for the mid and post credit scenes. I feel like even if you miss out on them, like you don't need them to be excited for the next movie.
Mm.
Unless they're like, here's the thing: there's at least going to be one scene that's going to be important. So here's the thing: if the mid credit scene is very important, you don't need to stay for the post credit scene.
This is kind of important though. T'Challa had a
Mm.
son.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was
Well,
important. But I'm saying, like, here's the thing: the mid credit scene of Spider-Man: No Way Home, where the symbiotes left in this universe, to me,
Yeah.
that's an important mid credit scene because that's gonna
mm.
because that sets up like a possible like encounter. There's certain mid credit scenes that you don't need to stay for though.
Aaron, I gotta hop off because Tony's
Yeah, I'm
stream is
ending
starting.
it. I'm
So,
ending it. Take. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
but it was nice
You
talking to you guys.
grabbing with
Hearing your
geeks.
take. Yes, Gavin with Geeks is on. So it was nice listening to your takes and everybody in the chat, Marcus, Arkham, whoever showed up in the chat. So I'll see you guys around. Peace.
All
Take
right.
care.
I'm ending it, George. So just put your stuff in the
Yeah, I'll
chat,
put
and
my stuff in.
I want to show
So
you some. I want to show you some Stephen A. Smith stuff.
all right, but yeah, you can just catch me at the George. I put my channel link in there, and like I just got done reviewing movies that did have Black Panther in it, Captain America: Civil War, which is now my most watched superhero review, and I reviewed Black Panther yesterday. Tomorrow I'll do my Wakanda Forever review, and I'll be doing some basketball movie reviews in the next few weeks.
Oh,
I'll be
basketball.
reviewing, yeah, Hoosier, Space Jam, Coach Carter, The Way Back. Yeah, I'll be
Nice.
reviewing those, and I think I might start doing basketball content on my channel, depending on like if I feel how I feel about the reviews. So yeah, just check me
Uh,
out at the George.
okay, I'm gonna end it here, guys. Check me on this channel. Like, share, subscribe. You do the typical thing. Yeah, I'm just gonna end it. I don't care. AW as well.